Hello and welcome to another episode of Star Trek Europa. I am your host, as always, Dr. RPG Jeff Harvey, and I want to make sure that everyone gets a chance to introduce themselves one more time so everyone knows. Let's start with the captain. Brian, go ahead.
I'm Brian. I'm playing Captain Jorad Hage.
Okay. John.
John McKnight, I'm playing Science Officer and Second Officer Kazrianith Shabarneva.
Evelyn.
Evelyn Corbin. I'm playing the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. DeSalvi Onea.
And Jack, you've got a stream you want to pitch as well.
Yes, hello. I am Jack, also known as Leichner or Leichner Levels on the various places. I also stream. I have a D&D game that I play every Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern. You can find me over at twitch.tv/The People's Ascension, and you can find my channel on all the
Social medias
and whatnot. Yeah.
Everywhere that fine things are given away free.
Yes, yes. So if you want some fantasy to go with this sci-fi, you can find me there.
Awesome.
As
So
for now, I don't think I said I am playing Commander Commander Ambrose.
Right. All right. Let's do a recap. Where did we leave off in the last session?
So not in a good place.
Right.
In the best place.
In possibly the worst place.
Where we left off was there's something shady afoot going on Deep Space Nine. The Bajor First Minister has been acting strangely, so the commander has arranged a state dinner where he intends to investigate the matter further. Meanwhile, Starfleet has discovered that a group of dissidents has kidnapped the former wife of Benjamin Sisko, as well as the mother of his child, and we arranged an away team. The Europa arranged an away team to go rescue her. We had just managed to sneak into an abandoned temple, and and we managed to take down the transport inhibitor, going against orders. One of the young lieutenants, Jisha Sojin, had transported, instead of the assailants, transported the hostage instead. And because of transporters, that risks complication for her pregnancy. So we have yet to see the outcome of that.
Right. And we left off. We had just finished the transport. We just begun the transport, and we cut away.
Right.
And we were going to resume play today with one of the characters, I believe it was Elizabeth, was going to break into Shakaar's room while the meeting was ongoing. Correct?
Yeah, although not break into the room.
Well, sneak in.
Just a little illegal entry.
I'm going to deceive my way into the room.
All right. Are you going to try to just head up to the guards and go in, or did you want to?
Yeah, I'm going to go up to them, and I'm going to say, I'm with Deep Space Nine security. There seems to be some kind of Tetrion leak somewhere in this part of the sector, in the station. If you don't mind, I'm just going to go in and do a scan, look around.
They look at each other quite skeptically, but you are wearing a Starfleet uniform, so give me a good roll for that. What is the roll? Let's do what do you think? Daring or presence and command?
Yeah, well, espionage is usually security.
I'll take it. That's fine.
Okay. So they're both equally terrible for Yesbeth.
Yes. My thought with command was because you're trying to talk your way in. So
sure, that's fair. Yeah, but I'm going to roll daring plus command.
An 8 and a 4. That's 2 successes.
Yeah, that is 2 successes.
Okay. They look at each other, and I should have said the difficulty was going to be 1. They look at each other, and they kind of just, okay. And the door, they let you go past the door. And you gain 1 momentum, which I assume you want to
Yeah,
save up there. So you head into his room, and lights are turned off and everything else. It's pretty typical. It's a pretty typical room for DS9.
All right. Well, I will let out a small sigh of relief that my plot worked, and then I will break out my tricorder, begin scanning. I'm specifically looking for anything resembling the radiation that comes from orbs and orb influence.
Okay. The difficulty is going to be 4, and you can roll, I would say, reason or control and science.
I would like to use 3 momentum if people are cool with that.
Fine by me.
Okay.
No objections?
All right.
There you go.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
All right. So that's 4 successes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, do you have well, it doesn't matter if you have a focus or not, because the one counts as 2.
I mean, I do have a focus in sensors. So.
Yeah. Doesn't matter because none of those are under other than the 1 anyways. So, yes. You scan around for a little while and you find faint traces of the energy that is associated with the orbs or the wormhole aliens, as Starfleet calls them, the prophets. You find a little bit, just trace amounts, in and around Shakaar's bedroom, mostly his bed.
Okay. Well, that verifies my theory that some kind of influence, or that is further evidence of my theory. I think I'm going to head to the dinner to talk to the commander, because this is the kind of thing that he should know.
Yes. All right.
Before we get too far, that was only 1 momentum for that, right?
No,
You said 3, but you only rolled 1 extra
one die.
Oh, he did only roll 1 die.
Oh, whoops, my bad.
Well, look at that. You get 2 momentum back.
There we go.
Good catch.
All right. You are heading back to the state dinner. At the state dinner, before you arrive, Shakaar and company were just arriving. Where Shakaar and Ambrose were just arriving. I believe when we last left them.
Mm-hmm.
Shakaar had put his hand on Ambrose's shoulder and just smiled after they had a long, heartfelt discussion about being their father's sons. As you enter into the room, there is some cheering. Someone stops and 3 cheers to the First Minister, and everyone does the 3 cheers thing. The tension, the feeling in the room gets noticeably more tense, though, as you enter. In the room is the Second Minister, Mr. Ambrose. We'll throw up that picture there. The First Minister and the Second Minister, as well as the station's first officer and Commander Edwin, Commander Edwin, the chief Starfleet security officer aboard station, as the chief security officer is not aboard station currently. There are also a number of other Starfleet delegation members, members of the crew. There's a Trill who is the leading medical personnel aboard station right now, since Dr. Bashir is not aboard station. There are also a couple of Bolians and a number of humans. There are no high-ranking delegates here. There's no none of the ambassadors are here at the moment, anyways. I assume they were invited, but they have not yet come. There are also a number of the Bajoran delegation here, as well as some Bajoran security. In the room as a whole, though, you only see about 6 total security officers. That's 4 that are Bajoran and 2 that are Federation.
Could I do my own chief of security thing and just give a quick scan of the room and make sure everything looks good?
Sure. Give me an insight and security roll.
All right. Difficulty, complication?
I'm going to say the difficulty at the moment is... I'm going to give you 2 difficulties. To get a basic understanding of the room, I'm going to give you a difficulty of 1, but for a very in-depth perception of the room, like a true understanding of the room, I'm going to say it's 3.
Okay. Does my my KNR telepathy aid in that in any way?
I will lower. Yeah, I will say that it only works on people in fairly short range, but I will give you a minus a difficulty of an advantage, so it's -1 difficulty. So
Okay.
so 1 and 2 or 0 and 2. I mean.
Okay. Sure. I don't think I have any. This might be a stretch, but would team dynamics work looking around the room and just nodding to the security officers, doing that sort of silent, how's everything looking?
I would say that if it had been your team, yes, but so this is then so you don't really have
a
the
team I
experience with
don't
this
know.
group.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say no.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
See, he should at least have Mills there. I don't know if that would sway
Sure.
that at all.
I did say Mills was there. Yeah,
Right.
she was invited.
Are you acting as security, Mills?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm still going to go
Maybe
ahead and
it's-
say no because it's an advantage that covers a farther amount than that. So I'm going to go ahead and say no.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, cool. Yeah, inside security. Let's see what happens.
Oh. All right. Well,
Yeah.
the difficulty
No.
was 0. So no complications are ensued because I didn't raise the complication range, which I probably should have actually done. You get a basic sense that, like I said, there's a lot of tension in the room, but you don't catch anything out of the ordinary beyond that. Just an unusual amount of tension for what you would expect to be in the room at the moment.
Cool.
The second minister comes up to you and Shakaar and says, First Minister, welcome and thank you for coming. And she offers the Bajoran greeting. The delegates, the Federation delegates have been most generous and kind. How are you feeling, First Minister? And he kind of looks back at you for a second, then smiles and looks back to the Second Minister. He's like, I've never felt more alive, Second Minister. Thank you for asking. There's someone over here that I feel like I should talk to. And turns to the two of you. And if you'll excuse me, I would like to talk to the first officer. And unless anyone has objection, he will walk away. The second minister, on the other hand, turns to you, Ambrose, and I'm surprised to see him coming in with you, but I'm pleased that you were able to bring him.
I figured it would set a good precedence.
Yes. Well, thank you for setting all of this up. It is something that I think we will all benefit from. And she's kind of looking around like she needs to find someone she needs to talk to, sort of issue.
As soon as it's reasonably politically appropriate, Mar would like to cut in and talk to the First Minister.
Okay. I will get to that one moment. The second minister looks at as she's looking around. She says, "If you'll excuse me, I should mingle."
Certainly.
And then she meanders off to mingle with other Starfleet and Bajorn officials. Shakaar is kind of just idly chatting with people. It's before the main event begins, so he's just kind of mingling with the first officer, and then he meanders off to someone else, and it would not be an inappropriate time for Mar to sneak in and have a word.
Okay. You'll approach him and first ask how he's feeling.
I feel fine, thank you. I had an excellent rest. Your advice was comforting.
It's gratifying to hear, First Minister. If you have a moment, I was curious about something. I understand you recently returned from your tour of the Federation and have, if I may be so bold, found matters of which you are skeptical. I was curious if you spent any time at all or spent much time on Vulcan and what you were able to see there. I believe there are some interesting and, if not obvious, similarities between our peoples.
He nods his head a little bit and kind of puts his hand on your shoulder and lowers his head as he turns to kind of bring you into his confidence, sort of a gesture of let's talk over here kind of thing. I did spend a little time on Vulcan. I found it. Your people are quite brisk, but the religious overtones that your people have is quite similar to ours.
I profess great ignorance of yours, though I'm deeply curious, especially being here on the station and having the chance to meet practitioners. One thing I believe we share in common is reticence about discussing such matters with strangers. I was wondering if perhaps you and I might take a step towards overcoming some of that and compare notes, as it were.
I don't see any reason. I'm no Vedic or Prylar or heaven forbid the Kai, but I found my faith. So perhaps we can set aside some time after this meeting to discuss it further. I'd be interested in hearing of Vulcan's insights on all of the issues that Starfleet has dealt with our little backwater world.
I would hesitate to call it that, sir, but and my concerns are, my interests are at the more personal and less strategic level. Perhaps a conversation about our mutual spiritual interests might be a diversion. And if you have time, I would be amenable.
I look forward to it. I'm sorry I didn't catch your rank or name, really.
Dr. Marr, doctor will do it.
Oh, yes, Mar. That's right. Well,
Marr will bow and
okay. He kind of nods and turns back to the room as a whole. Back on the planet, as we are waiting for Elizabeth to make it to the room. The transport has happened. Those of you inside of the room have noticed that the transporter has taken your hostage that you were trying to rescue. And there are 4 Bajorans who are armed heavily, hiding behind crates and whatnot, looking at all of you. I will step back into combat rounds really quick and let you guys go first.
Okay, so we can see 4 Bajorans.
Correct.
The mother and unborn child have disappeared.
Correct.
And we still have 2 some things that I've sensed we cannot see yet.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
So as last we left it when that happened, you guys had broken in. Yeah, it stormed in. Some covering fire had happened. The Bolian had knocked over the. Was the Bolian? No, Kaz knocked over the.
yep. Transport
The
inhibitors.
transport inhibitor, whilst the Bolian was giving cover fire.
Cover fire, yeah.
At which point the Bajorans had ducked behind some things, started returning fire, sort of returned fire anyways. And then as soon as the transporter module had fallen, a few seconds later, the transport initiated. You could hear, see, whatever. So that is where we left off.
Okay.
Kaz would like to. Oh, go ahead.
If I could just add, it was my understanding as a player that I was actually following the orders. It was my understanding that was our contingency plan. If that wasn't, that's a player disconnect.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was too. I thought that was our plan. Yeah.
No, Desavi had specifically said she did not want Yates transported until she could ensure that it was safe.
Right.
Yeah, I thought that was sort of countermanded by Cass, who is actually in charge.
Right. It is a conversation that can be certainly had once you're back aboard ship.
Yeah.
So,
I was just
Yep. No, I get where you're coming from though. Like
just to add an asterisk after that recap.
Go easy on me.
Sorry about that. I just remember the snafu mainly.
Yeah.
So.
That's all right. I thought it worked out really well. So
yeah, no, I am pleased. Evelyn is pleased with how the story is playing.
Yeah. So that is where we left off. Who wants to go first? The players do have the initiative.
Kaz would like to try to diffuse the tension and get the Bajorans to stand down.
Okay. What are you going to do?
She is going to say, hey, the hostage is gone. We can keep shooting each other, or we can just stand down and call this a day. We're not going to fire if you don't. Let's get together. Let's talk this out, and everybody can walk away from this.
You hear some hushed whispering from behind the boxes for a few seconds. How do we know you're not just going to shoot us when we step out?
Kaz will step out of cover and drop her phaser.
Silence for a few seconds as I contemplate whether or not I want to shoot you.
Oh, they have another hostage.
Right.
One of the Bajorans steps out and raises his phaser up above his head with his hands, both of his hands, and then kind of gestures for the other ones, and as he throws his phaser to the ground, and the other three, one of the other ones steps out and does the same. The other two do not, but they are not firing. They're just not coming out.
Can she roll to persuade?
Yes.
Okay.
Presence in command, or I would maybe accept daring in command.
Presence works for me. She has diffused the tension, so she's going to roll 3.
I'm going to say that the difficulty on this task is actually going to be fairly high, for yet to be discovered reasons. The difficulty is going to be 3.
Okay.
That is assuming that you have already diffused the tensions for everyone else. So.
Okay. Focus and negotiation.
Yes.
Alrighty. Team, can I spend a momentum?
Yep.
Cool.
Go for it.
Let's see what happens.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay. So 5 successes.
Was that 1 momentum spend or 2?
1, and I got an extra die for diffuse the tension.
Gotcha.
Yep.
But I think that second die costs 2 still.
I've never seen it played that way.
Wow.
I don't read it as being played that way, but because I think the way I've always done it is the first momentum you spend to buy a die counts 1,
Right.
then 2. I could be mistaken. I'm not sure how the rule actually plays, but that's how I've always done it.
Yeah, I've always run it that way.
So that is 5. Do you want to do any kind of flashiness with those extra 2 momentum, or do you want to just save them?
Save them.
Okay. We'll bank those 2. The 2 Bajorans reluctantly step out from behind their fortifications and lay down their phasers. There's definitely some physical tension in them that is not that they do not have a sense of defeat as the other 2 necessarily do.
Okay.
But they're not armed anymore, so. What can you do? Anybody?
I would like to try and get a bead on,
Yates?
if I can, location and intention of the 2 missing
Okay.
people.
Give me a. What did we decide that was last time? It was presence and
Okay.
science, I think.
Presence and science?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't remember how we decided to use the Bajoran power, and I forgot to look it up. So, not the
I don't
Bajoran.
think we had a presence. Maybe insight?
Sure, insight and science works for me
Okay.
because, as Brian said yesterday in a game, science is the it's medicine.
Medicine.
But that science is the one that catches all the weird stuff. So,
Right.
Yeah.
but yeah, it is actually medicine, I believe. 1 success. Okay.
1 success.
The other presences, the 2 other presences that you sensed are actually cohabitating in the same space as the 2 tense Bajorans.
Oh.
On that note, who was in the shuttlecraft? I forgot.
Jisa.
Jisa,
Mhm.
right.
So, I've actually been thinking about this. We do have the Europa in orbit because they were the ones who snagged the 4 outside.
Correct.
Mhm.
And she should know that something's going wonky with this transport. Can I call up to Tong and see if we could actually use the shuttlecraft sort of like a relay and have Tong use, the ship's better transporter to fix whatever the situation is? Obviously with a higher difficulty because of that complication.
Right. Yes, I think I'll allow that. Because the Europa is in orbit. However, the difficulty before was 4, correct?
No, the difficulty for the transport itself was 1, but it had a complication range of 5.
Oh, correct.
Yeah.
You're right.
So I did succeed with a single complication, but that
Right.
complication generally would be to increase the difficulty of a further
Right.
related task.
I'm going to say that in that case, in order for Tong to be able to do it, so you're holding her essentially in stasis in the transporter pattern buffer. I will say that yes, Tong can make the roll. The difficulty is going to be to the relay. You're going to be doing a difficulty of 3, and the complication range will stay the same.
Okay. Would Jisa get an assist on this, or?
Sure. It's weird that you're rolling for both characters, but yes.
Yeah, I know. I figured this would happen at some point. Okay, how do we do this, like, actually in software?
All right. So because we don't have Jisa basically in the system yet, you can open up Tong, because Tong is the only one I currently have in the system.
Right.
And you can roll for Tong normal, and then you just roll a single die for Jisa, the way that we have been rolling for secondary characters.
Okay, so it's not actually letting me change how many dice or complication range I have when I open up Tong.
I got to that. I think I can change that. I was hoping it would do that for you guys. The complication range was
5.
5, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're rolling 2 dice. And then I don't know if you had a focus for this one or not.
Oh yeah, transporters.
Yeah. Okay.
So what is this? Control engineering?
Yes. Control engineering for probably both of them.
Okay.
Although I would also accept daring and engineering for either of them, because this is pretty daring.
Yeah, let's see. Tong's definitely going to go control engineering. So that all looks right. I really should have bought more dice, but that's a crit. Let's
Nice.
So that's the 3 I needed.
Sure.
Right? It was difficulty 3. Let me bring up Jisa real quick for that assist. And does the Europa get to roll?
Yes.
So somebody else can roll for the Europa, so I'm not rolling for 3 different things.
I'll do it.
Okay. I was going to do it, but it doesn't matter. If you can't change the stuff on that, let me know. Europa's complication doesn't change, so 12. And that is...
Jisa is rolling with a 15, no real focuses. She only gets 1 die, right?
Correct.
For the assist.
The ship does succeed, by the way.
Where even is the ship character sheet?
Under ships.
That's another success.
I don't have a ships.
Yeah, we don't.
It's when you... I'll show you how to get to it in a minute. So that is 5 successes, correct?
Yes.
All right. With 5 successes, you manage to snag the energy beam, the transporter pattern, I should say, and Kasidy Yates appears on the Europa, without any. Well, she still has a little bit of complication because of the. She
Well,
appears to be. She looks up at Tong, and looks him square in the eyes as she's holding her stomach, and she's just like, "It's time."
Time? Yeah, I believe it's 400 out.
Not that time.
Time. Doctor is on the planets. Nurse, we need nurse. All of the nurses to transporter room 3, please.
All of the nurses.
All of those.
All of them. I love it.
That sound. The bridge is aware of this as well, obviously. So the captain can do as he pleases with that. But before we get back to the captain, we'll jump back down to the planet, and Actually, we're going to jump back to the station real quick. On DS9, about that moment is when Isabeth is reaching the conference.
Yeah. So she'll look for an opportunity to speak with the commander when he's away from the Bajorans.
Are you? Did you run to the meeting, or did you walk casually?
Oh no, definitely ran.
Okay.
Definitely ran.
So the door slides open, and there's a slightly out of breath Trill woman ensign standing in the doorway.
Commander, she gestures her head to the side.
I will excuse myself from talking with whoever random NPC I've been talking with.
Okay.
Ensign?
Listen. I got it. This proves I was able to prove my theory. I snuck into his bedroom. Don't ask how. And got a scan. There's definitely radiation that originates from the orbs there. I think in orb experiences, what's influencing his current attitude.
Mills, give me a security and insight roll. Difficulty is going to be 2.
Come back here. That should be 2 successes.
Okay. You notice that one of the Federation Trill officer that is in the room that is not the huffing ensign is staring quite intently at Shakaar, and there is an unusual amount of tension in that Trill. Ambrose, you want to do anything first? Respond to.
Sure. So I would say I would be having this conversation leaning against the door frame, still looking into the room. I don't look towards Yesbeth. I am focused on the room.
Okay.
Right. Yes, I will definitely be asking how and why at a later date. But I suppose that's good information. Is this actionable information? How can we use this?
Good point. Let me see what I can do. Maybe I can come up with a way to counter whatever's influencing it.
At which point you were interrupted. Go ahead and give me Ambrose. Go ahead and give me an insight and security. Your difficulty is going to be 1 higher, so you'll be difficulty 3.
Difficulty 3.
Do I have any time to act between noticing and? Okay.
Yeah, you will. I just want to make sure that he gets his roll, and then we'll go
Gotcha.
into the next set of rounds.
Okay. Insight, security, difficulty 3. Do any of my focuses apply? Composure, escape, and avoidance? Probably not.
I don't think so. No.
No. Okay. I'm going to say I am distracted by Yesbeth, so I won't take that. Actually, is there a way I can be bold with this? Because I am making a security roll. Yeah, you need some more threats, so I'm going to buy another D20 by giving you some threats because I am bold.
Okay.
Yeah, I am very intently still looking about the room.
Sure.
So I get another dice here.
Wow. 3 successes. So you both will have a chance to basically act. Mills will be able to act first, as she was the first one to see. The Trill is carrying a Type 1 phaser and is raising it towards Shakaar. What do you do?
This is somebody in a yellow shirt?
No, she's wearing a blue shirt. She's
Okay.
she's one of the medical officers.
Okay.
From DS9.
Okay. I want to. Am I close enough that I can like tackle her or attack her in some way, knock it out of her hand, something like that?
Yeah, you can make the effort. Sure.
Okay.
Can Mar assist?
Um. Sure. Sure. As soon as you see her moving, you could see what's going on, and then, or Ambrose could assist. You could both assist, really. Just bring her to the ground.
Well, she raises her phaser towards Shakaar.
Yes.
So if I can see that Mills is reacting first and heading in the direction of the phaser, I'm actually going to head in front of Shakaar. And if it's fired, I'm putting my body between,
Okay.
the blast and Shakaar.
So yeah, Mar and Mills can go ahead and try to tackle.
Mar has composure and small group tactics. Would any of those apply?
I'm going to say no, just because you didn't have time to actually coordinate.
Fair enough. Daring security?
Yeah.
Okay, that is a 12.
I assume that's 2 successes, Evelyn.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
The trill. Ouch. Sorry, it
Okay.
popped my ankle. It was quite painful.
Ow.
Get that taken care of.
What's that?
Get that taken care of.
Right. The two of you managed to hit very hard the trill and take her down. Actually, roll before taking down. Go ahead and roll, Evelyn, your hand-to-hand combat. And I'll give you a momentum because Mar is helping.
I don't have any mob weapons.
Open
I
up my
have
cheat
0
sheet.
weapons on this sheet, and I don't remember how to do that.
So it's your security rating essentially.
Okay.
You just roll that in
It
d6s.
should just be a 4. Yeah, my security's a 4.
I think it might be 1 plus your security rating, but just do
1
4.
plus security.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So 1 plus your security
So
rating. then.
5.
Five. And you rolled a 4, which is a 0. 6 is 1. 4 is 0. 1 is 1. So that's at 2, and 3 is 0. So you have 2 damage and 1 effect. So you guys can knock her down. You also have 1 momentum that you can use to do either additional damage or whatever else you can do with momentum. Which normally I have my cheat sheet open, but I forgot to open it. So
Nope, and I don't have my cheat sheet open.
that's all right. I know you can do a resistance or you can do additional damage. We'll go with one of those 2 for now.
Would Mar neck pinch her?
I like that. I was thinking I was going to ask if we could use that additional momentum to incapacitate her in some fashion.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Probably not by the rules, but sure, why not?
Okay. Okay, Mar will.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm reading something Brian sent.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I don't know how nerve pinch works. I've never actually used it.
I don't think I have either, actually.
All right. Well, narratively speaking, for now, we're just going to go ahead and say that she, because you guys did enough damage or enough. You managed to grapple her anyways and bring her to the ground. You use the extra momentum to go ahead and give her the nerve pinch, and down she goes, dropping the phaser. As Ambrose is moving towards Shakaar, you'll see that the Bajoran, I'm sorry, the Trill was not alone. There was also a Bajor. There is also a Bajoran who is moving quickly towards Shakaar, but this time with a knife. I am going to get a quick attack.
Hold up.
Go ahead.
I have quick to action. I am
Okay.
maintaining the initiative here.
All right, so you can spend the 2 momentum to do that, or no, it's free because you have quick
It's free.
action.
Yep, it's free.
Yep. Okay. So yes, there is an encroaching Bajoran with a knife.
Okay. Were the first and second minister lucky enough to be in the same general area?
They are not.
Okay, great. Well, first minister is first. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to impose myself between the minister and this Bajoran,
Okay.
and actually sort of give him just a real gentle push backwards.
Shakaar, you mean?
And Shakaar, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd like to try to take this guy down.
Okay. This one actually knows you're coming because you're standing between them. So this is a fitness security for grappling. Fitness security opposed. So.
Okay. Fitness security. I'm going to buy another dice with bold. Right, opposed.
Yep.
Okay.
Your difficulty is presently 2.
2. I get 3 dice. I have a focus in hand-to-hand combat. I really don't want Shakaar being stabbed on my watch, so can I buy another dice?
Sure.
How's everyone feel about that?
Go for it.
All right, I'm going to buy another dice. So I'm rolling 4 dice. I want to make sure this guy is not getting anywhere near the first minister. How do I denote? How do I take a... We'll worry about that after the roll. Four successes.
4 successes is succeeding by 2. So you manage to grapple, and you can use those 2 momentum to do whatever you'd like. You can choose when you grapple to either do damage as per normal attack, hold them in place, or that's really it. Because if the grappled opponent wins, they can choose to escape. So you can either do damage or hold them in place. What do you want to do? Or you could do both, really.
Or spend for disarm?
Yeah, I'm spending the 2 momentum on disarm. So
Okay.
I am wrenching his arm to one side and just knocking the knife as far away as I can.
Sure.
And what would be the damage for
It's unarmed
for an
combat. So it's 1 plus your security rating.
Okay. No, I already have him in an arm lock. Having wrested that away, I'm just going to hold him there. I'm going to
Sure.
grapple.
Okay. His return action is going to be to attempt to, because it's now his turn, he is going to attempt to get out of that and probably fail. So it is security and fitness contested again.
Okay.
And difficulty is going to be 2 again.
I do have my focus. I told you I was going to be a threat generator. Take another one. 3 successes.
Okay. So you have 1 momentum you can spend on doing anything you want, or you can bank it. But he stops struggling after a few seconds of trying to get free. It's just too much tension on his arm. He's just now lying face down on the ground within an arm bar.
Yeah, I'm going to bank that one.
Okay. Shakaar looks at you and looks at Mar and Mills and the now 2 captured and contained would-be assailants. The second minister comes over to Shakaar quickly and, First Minister, you all right? And the first minister just looks at her and looks at them again and leaves the room.
The first minister doesn't say anything and leaves the room.
Correct.
The one that Mills and Mar went out, that one's knocked out. He is unconscious. He's dealt with.
Correct.
Yep.
She.
Mills, Over here.
Yes, sir.
And as soon as you put your weight on this guy, I'm getting up and I'm going after Shakaar.
Okay.
As you follow out the door, Shakaar has the two security officers from the outside of the room with him. But you're going to catch up, I assume?
First Minister, are you all right?
He stops and looks back. I'm perfectly fine. Thank you for your quick intervention, Commander.
I sort of look. Does he look like just completely unfazed?
More or less, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna look around. And the two security guards, are they Bajor security?
Bajor.
DS9 security.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna look around, and I understand, given your past, that you're fairly used to these situations.
It's hardly the first assassination attempt I've survived. Might be one of the closest ones, but
well, I'm glad it was yet another unsuccessful one. May I ask where you plan on going? We don't have the area secured.
back to my shuttle. I can say one thing, Commander. Yeah, the shuttle that brought us here, yes. The one thing I can say for sure, Commander, is at least the Bajorans and Federation have come together on one thing they can agree on. He just kind of stares at you intently for a moment. I'll be heading back to Bajor.
Right, very good. If that's what you wish, I will admit to some disappointment that this altercation has ruined a perfectly good dinner.
He gets a faint smile, kind of attempted murder does have a tendency to do that.
At least, please allow me to accompany you to your shuttle.
He looks at the two guards and give me an insight and give me an insight and command roll real quick.
Insight, command, difficulty.
2.
Difficulty 2. I'm gonna spend one of those momentum, if that's okay.
Go for it.
I'm gonna get a read on this guy.
I'd like to intercede in this scene before it wraps up.
As Elizabeth?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know if I have any focuses that will work for this. I don't know if this is necessarily inspirational.
Did you want to go out and intercede with Ambrose and Shakaar? Or did you want to be inside?
Yes. No, I wanted to follow Ambrose
Okay.
As he's leaving. And while they're walking, I'm going to try to configure that thing that we were talking about when we got interrupted.
Sure.
Something that would disrupt the effects of a prophecy,
Sure.
of a orb.
You have a tricorder with you, I assume.
I'm sorry, what? Yeah, the tricorder?
Yeah, you have a tricorder with you, I assume.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They do everything. All right, so Ambrose, go ahead and give me that roll. And Brian, if you want to go ahead and give me a reason or daring in science.
Okay. I would also like to use a momentum.
Sure.
That's 3 successes.
Okay. Ambrose, you got a single success.
I only got one.
Difficulty was 2.
Work. Yep.
You do not there's a little bit a flash of something in his eyes, but you're not really sure that you're not even 100% sure you saw it, but some kind of maybe internal conflict there for a second, and then he as he says, "Of course, I would appreciate the company, Commander. Thank you." As Elizabeth is coming up behind, you have something that you think would disrupt the influence if you wanted to use it.
I'm going to press that button.
Okay. A high pitched as Shakaar is beginning to turn to walk away, and Ambrose is standing there with him, and two guards, obviously. A high-pitched wailing noise comes from a trill that's coming up behind Ambrose. Well, the tricorder they're holding anyways. Shakaar promptly grabs his head and lets out a ah, and falls to his knees. And you see a shimmering resonance with a kind of a reddish brown hue to it, kind of wisps out of him. Takes a couple of jaunts to side. Do either one you want to try to do anything before it moves, before it acts?
So Shakaar is on the ground.
Correct, on his knees.
This thing is over top of him.
Yep, it's kind of wafting out of him.
Yeah, I know this is almost certainly going to be unsuccessful, but I will be taking a shot at that.
Okay. There's no need to roll because you're correct.
Yeah, it's just go right through.
Yep. You phaser. You fire a phaser through it, and the two security guards also kind of like raise their phasers but don't fire. The thing shimmers a little bit and then darts off through one of the bulkheads at the side of the DS9 hallway.
Yes, Beth, can you track that?
I can try.
Station security intruder.
And
I give the corridor we are on and where it was heading.
Right. The lights, the klaxons go up in throughout the station, and you can hear the energy fields and whatnot coming online. The station's pretty well equipped for intruders. So, are you turning off the tricorder and switching it back over, Elizabeth?
Yeah. I can probably use the same program that I've had going before,
right,
to detect. I would like to use another momentum.
Sure.
That one's much worse.
Looks like one.
It's yeah, one success.
Okay. You get a sense of where it's going for a few moments. You can track it, but once it gets nearer to the energy system, the energy core of the station, the readings become too faint to track it beyond that. So it definitely headed somewhere towards the central core of the station, and then you lost sight of it. So, on that note,
I will also be calling for medical.
Sure. Back aboard the planet, because aborting planet is a thing.
The planet.
Back aboard the planet. You have 4 captive Bajorans.
Okay.
2 of them are slightly less willful than the other 2, or willing, I should say, than the other 2. What do you guys want to do? I think, Cass, you're in charge here.
Cass would call for everybody to be beamed out, I think.
All right. So the Lexington is the Europa is contacted by Kaz for a beam out. I assume that there's no captain's orders to deny that course kind of thing.
No.
Specifying the Bajorans are going straight to the brig.
Yeah.
Sure.
Bajorans to the brig, the rest of us to transporter room.
Right. You'll probably just all beam there and be security waiting for the Bajorans. That's no big deal. Beaming them straight to security is one of those things that you can do it. Tong can do it. It is just more difficult if you want to make the roll.
And Tong's having a bad day, so yeah, we'll let that one go.
Okay.
Okay.
Tong's got amniotic fluid all over his all over his.
Yeah, there's a quick like smash cut over to the transporter room, and he's just, you see Yates on the floor, and he's like between the legs, just like ah. All of the nurses.
That's fantastic. You guys beam back aboard. It's your choice if you want to beam back into Tong's room or if you want to go to a more clean transporter room. I don't think the transporter room would want them. I don't think they'd want you to beam back up into the same transporter room, though. So you do beam up, and security is waiting for your 4 Bajorans, taking them into custody and moving them on. So we have resolved the bulk of the combats now, so we get a chance to dive into some other stuff. What do you guys want to do?
Kaz is going to ask the doctor about those 2 remaining presences.
They're inside the 2 Bajorans that were reluctant to come out.
Oh. Okay,
Before
so
this,
there weren't camouflaged shooters there. That's a relief.
It's a relief and disconcerting at the same time. I want to assess them and figure out what exactly is happening here.
Yeah, that sounds like a medical thing, but if you need science to assist, just let me know, and we'll get the scanners going.
I think it might be best to have both teams. We don't know exactly what we're dealing with.
Works
It could
for
be
me.
any number of parasitic entities.
Always a good time, those parasites. Yeah. Yeah, we'll rig something up.
Sounds good.
Okay, you gonna head to the bridge. Let the captain fill the captain in on what's going on.
Yep.
Okay. You arrive on the bridge, and Captain Gerard or Captain, how did you pronounce his name? Hedge. Okay.
Age.
Captain Hage is on the bridge, and Cass comes onto the bridge.
Captain, problem solved. We rescued Miss Yates. I understand she is giving birth at the moment. We captured her captors without incident. Only plot complication, sir, is the doctor was saying that two of them have some sort of guest life forms aboard, which we're going to start investigating.
That's life form, huh?
Yeah, that's all we know at this point. We're registering more people than there were in the room, and it looks like a couple of them were sharing space.
Well, I'll leave that to the doctor's discretion, but sounds like it qualifies for a quarantine. We should keep them separate from their other prisoners and figure out what's going on.
Yeah, we're gonna work with medical and get some scans running, see if it's biological or some other thing.
How's the hostage going? Or hostages, as it were.
I understand they're giving birth in the transporter room, sir?
Well, that was not the answer I was expecting.
The transporter birthing suite 1.
Well, we'll hold off on the inspection then. We'll hold off on the investigation into the life forms until that's matters resolved.
But otherwise, everybody made it back intact. No shots fired. No problems.
Not bad for a first away mission, don't you say?
Could have gone a lot worse. I'm pleased. We were a good team down there.
Good work.
Dasavi would have headed straight for the transporter birthing suite 1.
Sure. I think probably Delphine is already there. She would have been first on the scene and helping deliver that baby.
Yep.
With all of the nurses.
There's Delphine. All right. What's the Europa's next step? Heading over to DS9 or something else?
Yeah. Now that we resolved the matter on Bajor, I think it's definitely time to proceed to Deep Space Nine.
Okay. Ambrose, you and Isabeth finish walking Shakaar to his. Oh well, no, something else has happened since then.
Yeah.
My mistake. Shakaar falls down the rest of the way. He's lying face down in the hallway. He's still breathing. He is clearly still alive, but disoriented considerably.
When Ambrose called for medical assistance, Mar, who's obviously right there, would have come right over.
Sure.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we're just down the hallway. Ambrose is literally just yelling for Mar.
Sure. Mar, you come bolting out of the conference room and see Shakaar and company.
Would like to do a scan.
Sure. Give me medicine and insight.
Okay. Insight 8, medicine 4. Target is 12.
Yes, an emergency medicine would probably apply here.
Okay.
2 8s.
Yep.
So 2 successes.
2 successes.
He is alive. He is stable. There are no visible injuries. The tricorder doesn't pick up any kind of injuries or anything like that. So yeah, medically he looks pretty healthy. Just, groggy, like something like something knocked him over.
Commander, there's apparently nothing wrong with the First Minister.
Not anymore. Thank you, Doctor. Yesbeth, can you see if there's any more of whatever that was, perhaps in the 2 assailants we had?
Yeah.
Or anywhere else?
To be honest, Commander, I'm only half sure what I did, but I will definitely do it again.
You might want to coordinate with station security. I'm going to stay here with the First Minister.
When you come back into the room, Mills has called for security backup and is beginning to escort the Bajoran to the brig on the station.
You probably turn him over to station security if you want. There was a security officer there who is in charge. So their security is definitely wrapping things up. If you want to go with them, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to.
Mills is going to go with them. After that little incident, she doesn't quite know who to trust.
Sure. Elizabeth, you head back into the room just as they're getting ready to leave, so you can scan the 2 if you like. They're both conscious and standing, but in custody.
Okay. I will be very careful not to get too empathetic with them, being fellow troll. But I'll just step over, scan, and
Okay. Give me another science and reason.
okay.
And I'll make the difficulty only 1 since you have already done this once. You detect no additional life forms. And I'll take that threat.
All right. Well, they seem clear.
The security team kind of just looks at you like, okay, sure, yeah, and then begins walking them out of the room.
No, I mean, I'm not.
They don't know anything. So the Mills is headed down to security. The Mar, Elizabeth, and Ambrose are standing in the hallway, and everyone else is aboard the Europa. What would you guys like to do next?
I think I'm going to call in for Ambrose for a status update. We can have that happen off screen, but
if you want to, you can do it off screen, or we can have
Is there any time jump here, or am I literally getting this request for status update as I am standing over a semi-conscious First Minister? Because that's going to be a completely different conversation.
I think what we can do is we'll have the ship has called Commander Ambrose and said the captain would like a status update, and then if we'd like, we can jump to Ambrose and the captain meeting for the first time in person.
Once Shakaar has been officially gone over by the station doctor and is secure somewhere, the second minister is secure.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. That's fine. Do you want Shakaar to go to the station doctor, or do you want to have them go to? Do you want to have him go to the Europa's doctor?
Yeah. Actually, if the Europa's docking, I would probably suggest actually that'll come up in the status report. I think for now he's going to station, but I will bring it up with the captain.
Sure. So the Europa docks.
Question.
Sure.
Ambrose, would you want Mar to stay with him or stay with you?
I will leave that to your judgment.
Mar's going to stay with the First Minister.
Okay. That way you have one doctor you can trust for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Since it was a medical officer that tried to kill him.
Right.
Yezebeth will go with the Trill if nobody stops her.
Sure. I assume that Ambrose is not going to stop her.
I'm in the hallway.
Right. Well, so is Elizabeth. So.
Oh, I thought.
Yeah.
Well, I went inside to.
Oh, right.
Them,
Yeah,
then,
you're right.
Right, and then we all would have shuffled out into the hallway.
I suppose that's true. Yeah.
I'm not trying to do this secretly, so I would let Ambrose know. Hey, I'm going to stay with the Trill.
The criminal Trill.
Yeah. I want to. I'll tell you. I'll tell you honestly. I'm curious to see if they are joined. I want to find out more about them.
Sure. Just remember they did try to assassinate the head of state.
No, I know, but I mean, I want to find out what's going on, like everyone.
See what you can find out, by all means.
Okay. The Europa docks. It's not a difficult maneuver, so I'm not going to make the pilot roll because that would be silly. The first thing Europa does is run into DS9. But yes, the ship docks, and you get a request across. Falks is the pilot, correct?
Yeah.
Gets a message across Falks's screen that's a little unusual. You've never seen this from a ship's console before. It's just a little thing that's a permission to synchronize with station computers. The request is coming from Eva.
Yeah. Captain, this is probably routine on the ship, but I just want to clear it with you first. I'm getting a request from Eva to synchronize systems with the station.
I don't see the harm in it. Go ahead and acknowledge.
Aye, sir.
Okay.
And you'll do so.
All right. The ship is now docked with DS9, and Ambrose, I assume, is going to be heading towards the ship.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me actually ask: do like full-size starships physically dock with DS9, or do they just beam back and forth?
Some of them dock. The Enterprise D docked at the beginning of the first episode, so it's certainly possible for.
And we've seen other Galaxy class ships dock.
Sure.
Too, so.
And this ship is quite a bit smaller than a Galaxy, so.
Yeah.
Cool.
You probably wouldn't fit in a docking ring, but you would definitely fit at one of the pylons.
But like right there.
Yeah. So you're a docking pylon, upper docking pylon 2.
The best pylon.
The best pylon, other than lower pylon 3. I like lower pylon 3. It just depends on where the camera is panning from. So yes, let us jump to where would you two like to meet for the first time? Where would the captain like to have his first officer meet him for the first time?
I think on the station. I think the captain would leave the ship and speak with him because he wouldn't want to pull him away from his duties if he doesn't know what's going on.
Sure. So you two meet. How about an ops aboard the station? Since that way Ambrose could be filing any final reports he's got with the first officer of the station, and the two of you can meet, and that would also give you an opportunity to meet with the station's first officer, which we can be doing off screen.
You know what? Real quick, I'm just going to order Lieutenant Shepard Noah to begin, standard docking, transfers of materials,
Sure.
The stuff we came here to do.
Sure. So,
but Jorad will come down the hallway and Commander Ambrose.
So I assume I'm at a station at ops, just going over and writing reports and whatnot. Still in full dress uniform, though I would say the sleeve of one of my sleeves have been cut by that knife, and I haven't changed yet. I'll turn and stand at attention. Captain.
At ease. Don't let me interrupt what you're doing. Just came to get a status report. We've handled things on the planets. Wanted to see what the current situation was here at the station.
That's good to know. You're on a fast ship. It's been a busy day. I'd be interested to read the reports for the away team. Well, long story short, there was some sort of alien influence within the First Minister. There was an attempt on his life. We thwarted that, and then one of our enterprising young ensigns managed to pull whatever influence this was out of him. As of yet, I don't believe that influence has been secured. However, the First and Second Minister have been, and they're currently being looked at by medical staff.
And I take it you've informed station security about this presence, and they're giving a look for it.
I have. I've ordered the same ensign to work with them with whatever contraption she's built to identify and influence.
All right. Well, sounds like you've got it handled then. Um, what 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 do you think this presence's goal was? Do you have any idea what that was?
My first thought would be to sabotage the Bajoran Federation relationship. That seemed to be where the influence Shakaar was taking this diplomatic meeting.
Well,
Beyond that, I couldn't say.
right. Well, I imagine a lot of people want to keep the. I imagine a lot of people have a vested interest in keeping Bajor out of the Federation, even still. Well, how's Shakaar medically?
Last I heard, he was stable. He's fine. There's nothing physically wrong with him, besides some minor exhaustion that may have come from the extrication of this entity. This was not long ago. I'm finishing up paperwork, working with security, and then I did plan on speaking with the two ministers again.
Of course. All right. Well, I'm not going to step on your toes on this. You seem to have the situation handled. Just like regular updates, and if there's any reinforcements you need from the Europa, you don't even have to go through me. Just make it happen.
Yes, Captain. I'll keep you informed.
Well, if that's it, I promised the doctor I'd see about some supplies. So.
Very good. I was also hoping I could get the Europa's chief medical officer to work with the station doctor, collaborate, and confirm.
Well, she may have her hand full delivering a baby at the present moment, but you're welcome to message her and see if she's available.
Very good. If I may ask, the situation on the planet, it seems that was resolved well enough?
Yes, a small team went in, managed to take out the phaser. You know what? We don't need to. He'll just give you the rundown of what happened.
I'll read the reports.
Yeah. But yeah, the civilian is safe, and she's having her baby, from what I hear.
I would caution to keep a trusted security team anywhere that Yates and the new baby goes. I assume that's simply stationed outside of the med bay. They seem to be part of some sort of prophecy, and there's been a vested interest by whatever minority it may be to see them hidden away, killed. I can't guarantee their lives are safe.
That's fair. All right. Well, I'll make sure that there's a protective detail there just in case.
Thank you, Captain.
All right. Well, he'll nod and head off. He thinks he's pretty sure you've got things handled. He doesn't need to intervene.
Sure.
Okay.
So who's got something else? Back on the station, we've got Esabeth with the Trill, we've got Mar with Shakaar, and we've got we go back to the ship and have the doctor deal with whatever she's dealing with on the ship. At this point, Yates would have been moved to sickbay and is being tended to by, medical teams and or the doctor. Birthing takes a while, so you've got some time.
Right.
So who wants
Yeah,
to do?
the doctor's priorities. Would be interested in following up with the prisoners.
Sure. So you're gonna head down to the brig.
Yep.
Okay.
And bring any necessary equipment like the heavy duty tricorder or scanners or something like that, or tie into the ship's scanners.
Sure. There is our brig.
Can we say Koba's got guard duty at the present?
Sure.
Okay.
You arrive. There are 2 cells that have Bajorans in them, as the captain ordered quarantine for 2 of them. There are the 2 that surrendered quickly, and there are the 2 that did not surrender quickly. Who would you like to talk to first?
First Cast would just like to congratulate Ensign Koba, which I don't think she had a chance to do, and say that was really brave and really well done, and I don't think this mission would have succeeded without you. So, great job, Ensign, on getting us through a really difficult situation down there.
What can I say? What can I say? I'm either really brave or really stupid, and maybe both.
It's the results that count, and I'd be delighted to work with you on away teams in the future. Anything interesting happened with these guys?
No, they've mostly just been a couple of them have been saying prayers, nothing too unusual.
Okay. All right, let's see what's up with them. Cover me and drop the force field.
You got it.
Some scans.
All right, so you're gonna step in. The 2, I assume the 2 that were reluctant to resign.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a first, Koba. Give me an insight and security. At the same time, Kaz, go ahead and give me a reason science.
Okay.
Oh man, I am just dying with these rolls here.
A 14 and 19. That's not great.
No focus. 2
14.
dice.
You said insight and security, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that actually does succeed. So 1 success.
Okay.
Plus, I don't know if it counts for forensics, but
No.
Okay.
You're mostly just making sure that they're not moving. So you're looking to see if they have any intentions of attacking, kind of thing.
Sure.
I have cautious science, but the sheet is cutting off the description.
You can move. Either if it's too low, you can pick it up and move it around, or
okay,
you should be able to just click into it and arrow key through.
Yeah. Okay, so had I bought an extra die, I could re-roll it, but I didn't, so I won't.
Right.
Okay.
All right. So you have 1 success, I assume?
1 success.
Oh, yeah, I see. Okay, 1 success. All right. I assume that in the amount of time that you guys have been here, some of the information that Elizabeth has been uploaded to the Europa, the tricorder information dumped to the ship. Yes. Yeah. So you have the information that Elizabeth used earlier. So the difficulty is only 1.
Okay.
You definitely do, in fact, detect 2 of these entities in these 2 people.
Working with Eva and/or the ship systems, can I match these readings to anything seen or reported before?
Probably. Give me let's do that was your scan, so let's do some research stuff. This will be reason and science, and then we can do some questions after that.
Okay. Computer systems focus?
I'm going to say no, because you're not really doing... Well, yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah, because you're doing research on this one, so yeah.
Is this something that our resident xenoanthropologist could help with?
Sure. If they were requested to do so, yes.
If they're requested to do so, just remember you have a cultural studies sort of expert.
I don't think she would yet, because she doesn't have any reason to suspect there's a culture involved. It's just some sort of reading thing.
Sure.
Okay. Focus used. There we go. 2 successes.
And 1 from the Europa, which is the worst I could possibly roll and still get a success.
Wow.
She does science well.
Clearly.
Oof.
She be a science ship. So you have the difficulty was only one. I think is what I said, right? I don't know if I said the difficulty,
Yeah.
but should have been one. So you have 2 questions, and what you basically find is that yes, these the energy patterns that these creatures have is consistent with those that were observed during instances on Deep Space Nine that involved possession, for lack of a better term, of either Pa wraiths or of what the Bajorans call prophets, the wormhole alien species.
Okay, and we
have
don't
2?
know which one.
Correct, but you have 2 questions. That initial answer does not give you the correct answer. It does not get you what it is, but you have 2 questions.
Okay. One, can we tell the difference?
Yes. Yes, I think you would be able to tell the difference using the information that Deep Space Nine has. They are not exactly, but the closest you can find them is that they are most similar to the Pa wraiths.
Second is there any method of extracting and confining them or interrogating them in place?
There is no guaranteed way to I mean, there's no way to force them to talk, but there are ways to contain, to separate and contain, at least with limited success. It has been done on Deep Space Nine in the past, but they have never been able to contain one for very long.
Okay.
But yes, they can, at least for short terms, contain them. And by they, I mean you.
Yeah. Okay. So that was my 2.
Mm-hmm.
She will pass this on to the captain and to the doctor.
Okay.
Well, the first thing the captain's going to do is he's going to pass that information along to the Bajoran government, since they would definitely want to know about this kind of thing.
Yes.
And I would ask them how they want us to proceed.
The Bajoran ministers of defense will contact you back. And Captain, we appreciate your diligence in this matter. We have not seen any of these, since the loss of the last Kai, and unfortunately the emissary. It's most disturbing that we are seeing them again. We would, for the moment, we would like you to hold on to these prisoners, as Starfleet has shown some ability to contain them for short periods, whilst we can configure our systems to be able to handle them. We will then send a team to collect them if you don't mind.
Of course. Would you like us to let the second, well, I guess we would let the second minister know too. Well, we should test her, actually, come to think of it. That's fine. They can send their team. Yeah, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't.
The only we will be sending, we will be sending additional Bajoran security teams to Deep Space Nine to ensure the security of the first and second ministers. We would appreciate any assistance that the Europa is able to offer in this matter. If you can provide us additional security or keep us informed of the things you discover.
We'll keep you informed. As far as additional security, we are at a short supply of jackboots, but if you need assistance, we're happy to render it.
Thank you, Captain. And again, we appreciate your assistance in this matter. And your discretion.
Of course.
And they cut out.
All right. So the captain will message Com Orani and ask what you met the second official. Do you think we should let her in on this?
Once she has been cleared both medically by security and by whatever device our young Yezabeth has, yes, I believe both ministers should maintain authority over this matter.
All right. Well, I will leave that decision up to you then.
Very well.
Okay.
I'll see to it.
Okay. Does anybody else have any things they want to do? Ev?
Yeah, when Cass messages the doctor, she will step away from what she's doing, and ask, are they completely secure in the holding cell, or if these wraiths choose to leave, can they get out of the holding cell and run amok among the ship?
The data that Kaz got, do they need to do anything else to secure the cells?
You would need to modulate the energy fields, but it wouldn't be difficult to do.
Okay.
So,
could I also say that I have relayed all the reports I've written for station security to the Europa, so they have details on what exactly Yezbeth did. Cool.
Yeah. I suspect that at this point we are sharing information between tricorders and ships' computers and people as necessary. So, any discoveries don't necessarily need to be brought up unless you guys want to have one of those, boardroom scenes.
I'll quickly calm over to Mar. Mar, any update on the two ministers? How are they doing medically?
They both seem in perfect health.
Very good. Ensign Chierka, are you there as well?
Yeah. Yes, I'm here.
Everything checking out on your end?
Well, they haven't allowed me in to see the prisoners yet, but I figured I'd go in and see why they did this thing, or at least why they say they did it.
Have you given the second minister a pass?
Not personally, no. Do you need me to?
Send your tricorder configuration over to Dr. Marr. They can take care of it. Let me know what you find out.
So she'll send that to Mar.
Okay.
And Mar will do the thing for the second minister.
All right, give me the roll. It was reason and science.
Reason science. Okay.
I mean, control of science also works fine. I have to be more consistent with when I decide to use control and reason for science, because I think control should be applied science, and I think reason should be,
figuring stuff out,
sorting science,
doing a thing. Okay, so that will be target is 12. Okay.
So one success.
One success. Yeah, focus doesn't apply.
Shakaar does not appear to have any residual effects, and the first minister the second minister also appears to be clean.
Okay. Mar will report that to Ambrose.
Very good. Thank you, Doctor. I suppose I'll be there shortly. I want to check in with Ambrose knows this person's name. Did we establish that Ro Laren was here?
Ro is.
So.
Did I say she was aboard? She is the station security chief.
Yeah.
But I believe I had her aboard. I believe I had her aboard the Defiant.
You had her not aboard. Yeah.
So I would just like to get an update from Commander Edwin, and whoever is acting.
Is it Edwin or Edwards?
Edwin. Commander Edwin.
Cool.
Yep.
And the actual station commander, who is
Jast, I believe.
Jast.
Yep. Commander Jast, the Bolian.
The Bolian woman, yes.
Yep.
Yes, Commander Edwin, Commander Jast, any updates about our uninvited guest roaming the station?
We've got teams investigating. Edwin, should I say? We've got teams investigating, but unfortunately, we haven't been able to find much. The tricorder settings that your um, science officer provided us have been helpful. We've been able to find some residual places where the Spectre has been, but we are not able to locate it aboard station at this moment. We are trying to adapt these Cardassian internal sensors to scan a greater swath of area faster, but in the meantime, we have teams going deck by deck with handheld tricorders.
Perhaps if you have a way to keep eyes on the majority of the station, we may be able to enhance whatever effect drew this entity out of the First Minister by amplifying it through Europa's deflector array.
Certainly worth an effort, worth an attempt.
I'll pass that along.
The station executive officer just looks and says, "My security is getting stretched pretty thin. The Bajorans are sending more security teams to the station, but be honest, Commander, who do you trust at the moment?"
Right now, I trust Dr. Marr.
Well, Dr. Marr isn't going to be able to provide security to the entire station, but
no. The sensors that were adapted for the changeling threat, are they still in place? Could we provide the same sensor sweep that Yezebeth has created for any incoming security officers as they are beamed or shuttled aboard?
We can certainly attempt to adapt them. They are Federation sensors. We should be able to do something with those. It's a good call.
I have looked over most of the personnel reports from the Europa. I'm sure they have plenty of good men on the ship. I simply have men and women and otherwise. I simply have not met them personally.
Very well. We'll make do. I'll have my teams adjust the sensors for all the docking facilities, and we'll get teams underway.
Have there been any...
Elizabeth invents a way to finally get rid of the Pa Wraiths. Ambrose, I still don't trust her.
we're getting there.
It's fantastic.
We'll see about that. I believe that is specifically one of my values. Anyway, right. Have there been any? Obviously, at least this entity that came aboard through Shakaar was found either a while ago or out on his tour. Have there been any recent artifacts brought aboard the station that may house or provide sanctuary for any of these spirits?
None that we're aware of. The most recent thing that we remember hearing about was the Enterprise E's discovery of the Orb of Memory, which was presented to Shakaar.
Where's that currently?
As far as I'm aware, it's in the Yukon province on Bajor. It is one of the two provinces that is having the troubles.
Fake orb.
Well, that could be indicative of the situation. Certainly, we may want to... That's spreading ourselves even thinner, but we may want to check that out as well.
The Bajorans are not particularly keen on the idea of outsiders handling their orbs without direct supervision.
I will talk to ministers about this. I'm sure they have a vested interest in this now.
All right. I will leave it to you. I am going to attempt to get word to the Defiant yet again, although we haven't heard from any of them in a painfully long time. Thank you, Commander.
Ambrose out.
Anybody else?
In the conversation with Cass, Dasavi will close it out by asking, Cass, can you please recommend to the captain we scan anyone who comes aboard the ship from the station? I don't know exactly how these things work or if they would necessarily attempt to infiltrate our people, but it could be disastrous.
That recommendation has already been forwarded to all of the Europa security teams.
And Cass will agree, and she will scan herself in Koba, like right off.
Okay.
And then calm the captain and say, you're probably hearing this from a bunch of people, but the doctor said it too, so.
Turns out both Cass and Koba are okay.
Koba will absolutely pretend like he's possessed for a moment before.
Yeah. And Cass is totally expecting it too.
These days, I'm
Pare!
gonna shoot this kid.
Just grab your ear with your own hand. My earring! All right. Does anyone else have anything they want to do? Elizabeth wanted to talk to the
The other trail, yeah.
the other trill.
The assassins.
So let me minimize these so I get back to where we're actually at with people.
Mills is there, just kind of warily watching everyone in the room.
Sure. So you're in the Deep Space Nine's, big brig area. Also in there is the Bajoran that was captured. Mills is there, but you are otherwise left alone in the brig to have your conversation.
Real quick, I want to see if station security has identified them yet.
Oh, sure. The Bajoran is a Bajoran security agent by the name of Gen. And the Trill is one of the attending physicians under Dr. Bashir, who goes by the name of Relin. Relin Call. She's an unjoined Trill.
I'll go. What the hell reason? What reason could either of you have to want to kill Ambassador Shakaar?
Mills just kind of she tries and is slightly unsuccessful for at first to hide a smile and a snort at Cherka's very blunt investigative style.
Gen doesn't say anything. He just kind of looks at you and there's a little bit of contempt in his face, but he doesn't say anything. Relin, on the other hand, Lieutenant Relin, is visibly shaking, obviously quite upset. I can't tell you, Ensign. There's a lot of danger involved in this, but I didn't want to kill Shakaar. I didn't have a choice.
Did your hand lift itself? What do you mean you didn't have a choice?
I can't really tell you. It involves my brother. He's one of them. He's one of their I don't know what they call them, but if I didn't do what they told me to do, I'm afraid they'd use him, they'd kill him, or I don't know. I don't know what they would do. I don't know. I didn't feel like I had a choice, and I don't know.
Do you think your brother, if he wasn't possessed, would want you to do this? Land yourself in jail for the rest of your life?
I'm and she kind of like she tears up quite a lot. And I don't I'm ashamed. I hope he forgives me.
Look, he'll forgive you if you help us figure out what's going on. That's the only way anyone's going to be able to forgive you.
I only know so much. I mean, I can help what I can try to help, but I don't know what I can know to help you. She's definitely got a sense of agitation. Like she feels like she wants, like you could tell pretty quickly that she feels like she would like to help you, but she's not entirely certain how she could help you.
Who did you talk to that was behaving like this? Give us a list of people you've been dealing with, including your brother.
Well, my brother again. There were a couple other security agents from for the Bajoran team, and she'll give you their names. There were messages that came from encrypted channels. I don't know who they were. I don't know who it was, but it came from the Vedic. I think, anyways, I traced it to the Vedic Assembly building, but I don't know who it was. They were encrypted and they were blurred, and they were threatening messages.
Okay, you'll give me access to your messages so that way we can go through them and see what you saw. If the evidence shows that you did this under duress, we'll see.
Okay.
Tirka, before you look at those, could the messages have influenced this behavior? Is that something you should be cautious of?
Unless I don't think so. It seems like this is being passed through proximity, but with the orbs, specifically this orb of memory. That's my guess. I don't know. I don't think the messages passed anything along. They both came up clean. I don't think that either of these people were possessed.
Okay, you know more about it than I do.
Maybe we'll see.
If I give you all the information, you'll help me.
All I can promise is that we'll find out who did this, and we'll find the truth of what's been going on.
All right. Okay.
And we'll try and help your brother.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And she gives you the passwords and codes to her logs and computer systems.
What about you, Gen? Why did you do this?
He looks, he stands up and looks at you and gets close to the energy field and says,
she'll take a step back.
He kind of gets a big grin on his face, and because I can't stand you.
Look, sometimes I think that when I wake up in the morning, but I think I'm all right. What do you have against me?
I don't want my planet ruled by any of your kind ever again. You're non-Bajoran kind.
Oh, you're one of those guys. I see. Well, it's not your call to make.
I'm not the only one.
Yeah? How many of you are there? There can't be that many.
There was enough of us to defeat the Cardassians. We'll get rid of you two.
The people who fought the Cardassians seem to be the ones who realize they need our help to keep something like that from happening again.
Maybe. And he just kind of turns and goes and sits back down. Maybe.
She'll shake her head. She'll go to Mills and she'll say, I think we've gotten about all we're going to get from these two.
Mills kind of rolls her eyes. Yeah.
Well, listen, I don't know anything about cryptography or anything. I don't know anything about like security systems or anything like that. Do you think you'd be able to do you think the two of us working together might be able to crack the code?
Should be able to.
Find out where these were coming from?
Shouldn't be too difficult, I don't think.
Let's go then.
Do we have any of our people, or is it all the Bajoran security there?
There are Starfleet security there as well, but it's mostly Bajorans.
Okay.
There's no one else from the ship there.
Right.
Yeah. I think
Mills will kind of cast a uncertain glance around and kind of shrug and go, all right. We'll head off to.
Yeah, I think we should go back to the ship to do it, since the ship, that way we could get the ship's assistance on it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything before they get back to the ship and do that? Kaz, Ambrose, the captain, anybody else? No?
Nope.
Okay. We cut some time passing, and we get to. You are probably also in the. I don't know. I mean, everything happens in the library, so. You guys are back aboard the ship.
Okay.
This is also pretty much where Kaz spent most of her time. Or was it Kaz? Was it who's here talking to Eva?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So I'd like to try cracking the code, or maybe Cass should do it since she's a main character.
Okay. So the Elizabeth and Mills come in, and Kaz, I assume you're working on some science-y project in here.
Oh yeah.
So go ahead, interact.
Well, we got these from the assassin. We got these from the assassins. One of them seems to just be a wackadoo. That's a technical term, by the way. The other one. The other one, she regrets what's happened. She says that her brother's being held hostage by one of the presences.
Okay.
She gave us all the information she had to help us figure out where the rest of them are, but a lot of it's encrypted. I was hoping we could get something from it.
Yeah, we can work on that. Come on, let's see what we can make of this. Eva, fun time. We got a project.
The image appears on the computer. Greetings, Commander. I am looking forward to a new project. What do we have?
We could use her help breaking a code. And Cass will ask for Yesbeth to upload the information and just get to work.
Okay.
With their assistance.
Sure. This is a multi-person assist, I assume, which I'm not sure how that actually works in this game, but we're going to go ahead and say everybody can assist. The difficulty is going to be, I would say normally 5, but since she gave you some of the passwords and information that you wanted already, we're going to drop it to 4. And I think Kaz was the lead.
Yep. Control science, focusing computer system supply.
Sure. I would also allow insight and security, or control security, or even reason and security.
Not from Cass. she'll stick with control science.
Sure.
The
The ship
16.
the ship is going to assist with computers and security.
Okay, focus used, yes. Ooh, we're down to 1 momentum. We're feeling lucky. Let's go for it.
Oh,
2 successes.
2. I assume that roll from Gerard, that was a failure.
yep.
So we're waiting on one more roll. There we go.
I will also use control and security, which is a 14.
Okay. So that's 3 successes out of the 4 you needed.
Yep.
Okay.
And ship assist.
Ship rolled 0 successes.
Oh.
Damn.
Apparently Eva is not good at puzzles. I, however, am going to let you succeed at a cost.
Okay.
The cost will be that some of the data is corrupted. But what you get, and Eva will reply with, "I'm sorry, Commander. It's Commander, right? Lieutenant or Lieutenant? It's Lieutenant.
Lieutenant.
Commander.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lieutenant. I apologize, Lieutenant. I apparently need to spend more time practicing puzzles."
Probably won't be the last time we come across something like this. So yeah, let's work on getting your capacities up in that area.
But what you get is you find the messages that she's talking that Reelan was talking about. There are a number of messages that come from what she traced back to being the Vedic Assembly. They are obscured and voice modulated, and they appear to be done analog, so it's not a digital like recreation kind of. It wouldn't be something you could digitally separate, but it is a lot of threatening that her brother has been taken by one of these. These things seem to like the Trill a lot, but it will kill the brother if she doesn't do this. If she doesn't stop Shakaar and his meddling in Bajorn sovereignty.
Okay.
Which may be slightly confusing since he's also the one that's fighting it.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, Mills will point that out. So kind of look confused for a moment and look at Cherka. Didn't the commander say you pulled one of those things out of Shakaar?
Yeah, that's what it looked like. I just rechanneled the feedback resonance back on it, and it definitely seemed to get rid of it.
If they're hedging their bets, they're doing a really poor job of it. They seem to be counteracting themselves.
Maybe
Why
they're
possess Shakaar and then order him assassinated?
Maybe they're not communicating, or they can't communicate, or they can't communicate when they're in bodies.
Maybe.
It does seem like a pretty weak way to run a conspiracy.
Is there any way to trace the location back?
You could possibly do it. It would be fairly difficult since these are older messages, but they do have traces running them already to the Vedic Assembly. You could certainly try to retrace those traces.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. That'll be computers and science, or well, for the ship anyway.
Yeah.
I'll say reason and science, or I'll take control, insight, or reason and science.
Okay. Focusing computer systems.
And of course, you guys can assist.
How do people feel about my spending that last momentum, which I can re-roll?
That's it.
Go ahead.
Okay. So let's go to 3, and I can re-roll that.
Oh, the ship is gonna do control. It's gonna do computers and security still.
And I'd like to re-roll that
Ooh.
19.
Or that
No,
20?
20?
The 20. Yeah, yeah. I was reading
Reroll the 20.
the other direction. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so 15, 9, and 19.
Yep. The 15 is a 9, or that's 2 successes.
Okay.
You said control, reason, or witch and science?
Insight would also work.
Nice.
I would also allow security. So you guys are basically just doing a security trace at this point.
Okay. Then I'll do security, control and security.
Pretty wide open on this one, really.
Okay.
Science or security for most everything on this one.
Take one of those.
All right. So that's 2, 3, 4,
6.
5, 6 successes.
6 successes.
Okay. That leaves you with momentum. In fact, I will say you guys have. I don't think I told you what a difficulty on that one was, did I?
No.
No.
I will say it was 2 because it probably would have been higher than that, but I don't want to bone you guys. So 2, that'll leave you 4 questions you can ask.
Okay. And Kaz has studious as well.
So that'll leave you 5 questions you can ask. So the first thing you get is that the trace does go through the Vedic assembly. In fact, it you can tell it probably originates from the Vedic assembly, but goes out of the assembly and comes back to make it look as though it was essentially to obfuscate that it was coming from the assembly to begin in the first place. Like it was. Does that make sense? Like they sent it from there, but they VPN'd out and then VPN'd back in to make it look like it was Vedic assembly, even though it was the Vedic assembly. It's hard to explain, but it does look like someone inside the assembly was trying to make it look like somebody inside the assembly was doing it, but trying to mask they were doing it.
Yeah. Do we have a specific location, like somebody's office or something like that? Or a phone booth down the hall?
Right. Yes. That'll give you 2. I'll take two of the momentum to give you the exact location. It is Prylar Eton's office. He is one of the Prylars who was actually aboard the station recently that you guys would have talked to, didn't talk to, but could have talked to. He's actually on the station with the group that was at the temple earlier on when Ezabeth and them were going to talk to people.
What was that name?
Prylar Eton.
Eton, yeah.
Can we tell? No, and that is where it's actually coming from, not where it is like looked to ping back to loop through from.
Correct. That is where it actually originated from.
Okay. Can we tell where it was meant to look like it was pinging from? Can we get an exact location on that, or is that too much?
Sure. I would do the other 2 for that to give you the exact, or I'll give you. It'll take 1. So you still have 1 left. No, you have 2 left because that'll be 3. So yes, yes, it looks as though it was meant to appear to have originated from the second minister's office.
Aha.
Okay. This is all good info.
You have 2 more questions, which I'm not sure there's 2 more questions to ask, but you have 2 more if you want them.
I got nothing. You could just bank them. Bank the momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay. What's next?
So you said Prylar Eton is still aboard the station.
Yes, as far as you're aware, he's still aboard station.
Kaz would calm the captain and pass this information on, and like immediately.
Okay. He will forward it over to Ambrose, since Ambrose is taking the lead on this situation, and is also the security officer. So he'll say, "Sounds like we should pay this Prylar Eton a visit."
I'm thinking the same thing. Good work over there. Well, I think it's time I have another meeting with the ministers.
Okay. Which minister are you going to talk to first? Or do you want to get them both at the same time?
I'd like to get them both in the same room.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be delightful. You should bring all of us. Just gonna put that out there.
Yes, I would like to invite Mar and Yezebeth. And Mills. Yeah, everyone's coming along.
Mar has been keeping them under observation.
Yeah.
In medical.
Yep, they are in sick bay at the moment. So, all right, you guys arrive, and Shakaar and Asram are there, as are the rest of the crew. Which there's just too many. There are too many faces to get all on one screen. So, this is a big screen here. All right, so this is your cast at the moment. So you're in sick bay. They are both resting comfortably. And Mara has seen to it that you are otherwise in a secure, an unattended section of the sick bay. So it's just this group of people.
Okay. Let me, what was her name?
Vadim?
Asram Wadim.
Asram, yes.
Asram Wadim.
First Minister Shakaar, Second Minister Asram. How are you both feeling?
Shakaar looks and says, I feel a lot better now. Bit of a headache. Other than that, I feel good. Asram, just, she looks at you and says, well, I feel fine. I don't know why I've been kept here this long, but I have no complaints.
I apologize. I'm mostly responsible for that. Our good doctor here likes to be thorough. Though there is a lingering security threat on station, I figured this would be the most secure area for the both of you.
Sure.
To that note, the crew of the Europa have been busy trying to put all these pieces together. This seems to be a larger conspiracy, and I will have to admit a sizable ignorance to the structure of your religious institutions. But there does seem to be some connection between at least one of your prylars and some sort of terrorist group.
These
are very serious accusations.
Right. They both look a little bit, they both look surprised. Go ahead and give me an insight and command roll. I'm going to say the difficulty is 1, but this is the one roll you're going to get for the round, so any additional momentum you get, you'll spend throughout the course of it to influence things. Make sense?
Insight. Yeah. Okay. Insight, command. Again, I don't think I really have any good focuses for
interrogation
or really talking to people.
You have 2 momentum.
I mean, could I make the case for inspiration that I've had multiple, though I guess Shakaar was sort of, out of his head for most of my encounters.
Sure.
But I have had fairly meaningful and I would think inspirational conversations with both these people to try to get them at a good spot to hear me out on all this.
Sure. I'll allow it.
Okay. And I will I can't use bold, but I will take another momentum if that's okay. That's 3 dice. Difficulty 1, normal complication range.
Correct. Yep.
And insight command, you said?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Ooh, yeah.
Nice.
4 successes.
4 successes. So you succeed by 3. All right. Let me get a chit here so I can keep track of when I have you use those up. going to use 1/4 inch to 3 to headphone jacks. I'm using headphone jacks to keep count. All right. So yes, they both look shocked. You're not completely sold though on Asram's shock. It may be a little overplayed.
So I would be presenting the evidence for all of this.
Mhm. Of course.
And I think I do remember reading a section of the book about how evidence works, but I don't remember
No, I don't know.
some sort of advantage. But I would be sharing these
Right.
The fairly extensive trace that was done back and forth for this note.
Right. I see. Shakaar says, I see. It's definitely condemning, but we don't have any proof that the Prylar actually sent the message. Just that it was sent from his office.
Who else would have access to his office, to his computer?
That's true. Asram speaks up. What is the motivation behind all of this? What does he hope to achieve? The assassination of Shakaar? For what reason?
Well, if our Bajoran friend in holding is to be believed, it is the terrorist cell seems to think Shakaar has been meddling too much.
Shakaar
Would also make a great. It's a great way to make a martyr.
Oh.
Shakaar looks as well.
Maybe it wasn't as foolish as we thought.
Shakaar looks as well. It's not the worst fate that people have specified out for me in the past, but if I'm under the control of one of these things, I don't understand the connection.
From what I could gather, you were doing, or you at least intended to do everything you could to oppose, perhaps even discredit, the relationship between Bajor and the Federation.
Well,
if that,
I remember. I mean,
it wasn't going to be successful, killing you to keep that idea alive would easily be the next best thing. Do you remember anything about your state?
I flashes and like a dream state. I'm sure it'll come back to me as time goes on. The Dr. Marr has told me the memories are mine. I just have to be able to access them. What were you going to say, Elizabeth?
Did you feel any different before? Do you feel different now than you did a day ago?
Yes, I definitely do. The last thing I distinctly and clearly remember is I had an orb experience. Do we think that the orb of memory is tied to this?
Evidence does seem to be pointing in that direction. A question, though, ministers. What would you see as the consequences to Bajor if the assassination had taken place? What would come next?
Asram, well, I would become the First Minister.
Would that be accepted, or would there be further uprisings or disturbances?
As far as I'm aware, I would be relatively accepted. I didn't lose the vote by very much, but the way our system works is when the First Minister was elected, those who came after, or those who ran against Shakaar, were appointed as ministers based on their successive amounts of representation that they received. They were to represent better. So I received the second most number of votes. That's why I was chosen to be the second minister.
Then there would not be large-scale violence such as the followers of the prophecy or might be looking to instigate.
Perhaps not towards her.
Not that I'm aware of. I can't believe that people would have that sort of violence for me.
It wouldn't look good on the Federation.
Shakaar nods, and that's definitely true. Would not look good on the Federation.
Especially considering, I believe, the first assailant was wearing one of our uniforms. Or do I have that mixed up?
Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah, she was a Starfleet officer.
Yeah.
Asram.
If Shakaar was killed by a member of the Federation, we would have been driven out of here. There'd be no saving this relationship.
But not the 10,000 dead that would trigger the prophecy.
Shakaar kind of like raises his eyebrows. 10,000 dead. That would have been something we have to look into. The thing is that in either case, whether I survived with this entity or if the second minister became first minister, it's been no secret that Wasserman has been opposed to the Federation joining. That seems like the most likely outcome that was desired by these things, was that one way or the other, the Federation was out of here.
Precisely.
And we suspect that Prylar Eton is the primary culprit here. I suppose we should have him arrested.
Was the Prylar involved in the collection of the Orb of Memory?
He was one of the first people that would have been given control over the orb once I returned, to set it up in the temple for the people to see.
Then he would have had more exposure to it than most anyone.
Yes. All right. I don't seem to have my communicator on me. We should certainly have him arrested, though.
I would assume that it's something Bajorn's current security should handle.
Of course.
If he authorizes us to, I don't see how it could be a violation.
First
It
Minister,
might be better optics.
Agreed. Yes, I will have Bajorn's security arrest him immediately. With one of your momentum, Ambrose, you'll note that there is a vague release of tension on Asram.
In response to anything in particular?
In response to the Prylar being ordered to be arrested.
Okay.
Shakaar calls for one of the security guards to come in and orders them to go to bring in Prylar Eton, and please be gentle with him. There is supposed to be a separation between the two powers of between the Vedic, the religious sects and us. I don't want this to influence anything. Be gentle with him. And the security guard nods, and as he's leaving, you can hear him call for several other security guards. They go off to assumingly effect an arrest. I suppose I have a lot to thank you for, Commander. The Europa has a good first officer in our hands. And I don't know what the rest of you do on board that ship, but you do it well.
It's a group effort.
Asram looks at at you, Ambrose, and agreed. I don't know where the Bajor. I don't know where Bajor would be without all of you. The loss of First Minister Shakaar would have been a death nail to any future consideration to join the Federation. First Minister, if you don't mind my asking, what is your intention to go forward now? Shakaar thinks for a moment. Well, I still think that it is best for Bajor to join the Federation, but it may be that we need to get our own house in order before we take any steps. I'd hate to say that this incident would allow these people to win, but maybe we're not ready yet.
Player question at this point. And I think a reasonable answer is no, so I'll just throw that out there, but I'm going to ask anyway. What if Mar proposed a mind meld to go back to and pull up the orb experience?
You could certainly try.
Okay.
Make the offer.
Mar will make the offer, and they'll say, I have rather large degree of experience in this area. I am what our people call a Kulinaru, something of a master of the separation of logic and emotion, and have experience with the melding of minds. First Minister, would you be amenable to joining your mind with mine so that we could search together to find out what happened in the orb experience?
He looks at the second minister, and he looks at Ambrose. What exactly would that entail?
Our minds would merge to some degree. I can control the extent of it and lead you to a particular memory. You would not be, neither of us would be laid bare to the other, but we would be traveling together, and you would know my mind as I knew yours. We would re-experience this memory of yours together.
Yeah. Give me a roll to see if you can persuade him for that. If you want to try to persuade him.
Could I assist with that and simply chime in? If there's one person I would trust myself with, it would be Mar here. He has my confidence, or whatever that
Sure.
means.
You still had 2 momentum left over from your original roll, so if you want to use him here to give him those 2 momentum, or to allow him to use those 2 momentum, I would allow that as an assist to help him. So you have 2 free momentum essentially, and give me a reason, I guess. I don't know what do you think would be best to try to convince him of this? Command, obviously. Reason and command, I assume, because you're a Vulcan, or presence.
Or how about medicine to explain the process?
Sure.
Okay. So reason, medicine.
Sure.
Target would be 12.
What's the difficulty?
I'm going to say the difficulty is going to be pretty high. I'm actually going to spend some threat here. The man has had a lot of minds in his own mind the last couple of weeks, so
yeah.
I'm going to spend 3 and make the. You know what? I've got them. I'm going to spend them. I'm going to spend 4 and make the difficulty 5.
Okay. And how much momentum do we have?
You have a total of 3 momentum.
Okay. So buy 2 dice. Roll 4. No, nothing applies.
The difficulty is what? What did you say? 3 or 4?
I added 4. It was 1, so it's 5.
The difficulty is 5. Ooh,
Correct.
Oh boy. Okay.
Before we go spending all our momentum, what exactly are we trying to get out of this?
What happened in the orb experience? If there were orders, or what was in the orb, or I don't know.
Just to recall the orb experience, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's pure fishing.
We're close to the end of the session anyway, so you don't
Mhm.
the momentum probably won't come into play any further. So, not a bad time to use it.
Yeah, I'd say go ahead and spend all 3.
Okay.
That's my vote.
Rolling 4 dice, and you said, right? I'm just rolling dice. I'm not using my character sheet. So that is 4.
Oh, hey.
Wow, that's all over the place. Love it.
Okay. I have no idea what to do with
Complication on a
that.
I got
mind
the 5.
2, 3, 4, 5. So we have
That's
6,
a success with complication. I love it.
6 in
Yep.
complication. All right. Okay. I've got it. He kind of, yeah, I think it might be good to know a little more. And Astram steps forward and says, First Minister, I don't think now is the best time. I think it would be best if we wait a little bit longer before we try to recall such things. The orb experiences are so personal. Are you sure you want to share that? Are you sure you want to relive that? Are you sure we can afford to relive that? Shakaar looks at you and Ambrose and Mr. Marr, I would love very much to find out more about this, but I think the First Minister may be correct. Can we hold off and do this another time?
Just Mar, please. As part of my culinary experience, I have transcended gender. Another time is distinctly possible. However, given that one of your religious leaders is in custody over this issue, knowledge might guide your actions in a way that continued ignorance might not.
Asram replies with, it may also, and please, no offense, Mar, more people meddling around in your mind, First Minister. Perhaps you should get your own your mind straight before you have someone else meddling in there. First Minister looks at Ambrose. You trust him. I trust you. But the First Minister has a good point. Or the Second Minister has a good point. What would you do in my position, Commander?
Honestly, I do not envy your position, First Minister. I like to have as much information as I can going into a situation. Unfortunately, I hate to compare it this way, but I don't know how much of our conversation you may recall, unfortunately. Given that, yes, there seems to be influence within the Vedic Assembly, and an entire province is in conflict over this situation, possibly directly related to this orb. Knowing as much as you can about this orb experience could help guide you to, as you said, set your house.
The Asram makes one last effort. There's nothing to say, First Minister, that the Federation won't try to influence you the same way that these things did.
And Mar will just look at her and raise one eyebrow.
Shakaar says, very well. I'll allow it, but don't stray. I've had enough people looking around in my head.
If it alleviates any of your worries, Mar, I order you to do only what is necessary to help the First Minister experience this orb vision again. Nothing more.
So it shall be.
All right. So start your mind meld.
Okay. My mind to your mind, your thoughts to my thoughts.
Is there a role for mind meld? There is, but I don't know what it is. Does anybody have that offhand?
It's a task with a difficulty of at least 1, which can be opposed by an unwilling participant. Momentum may be spent to gain more information or perform deeper exchanges. The link goes both ways. Complications can result in pain, disorientation, or lingering emotional or behavioral difficulties.
Okay. So the difficulty be 1. He's willing. And I don't see anything else. So go ahead and make the roll.
Okay.
I'm going to hold on to those two threat because I'm probably going to need to use them.
Focus and composure.
Okay.
Okay, so control menace again. Target is 14. Focus applies. 2 dice. Oh yeah.
So 2 successes.
2 successes.
All right. So you do my mind to your mind. Shakaar is you as you enter Shakar's mind, you push past a lot of latent resistance. So he's not actively resisting you, but he clearly has a very powerful mind. You dig in a little deeper, and you can push past his baser personality and stuff like that, and you start getting into the memories of the last several months, and you can see this swirling mass of people and experiences that he's had that are there that he remembers, but he can't focus on them at the moment. And as you push farther and farther in, you finally get to the moment where he's talking to Captain Picard, and he's presented with the orb, and he takes the orb back to his ship, and dismisses the Vedics, or the religious personnel who are there with him, and he opens the orb and begins his experience. There are flashes of a burning Bajor. There is a child who is a young man who is in a Starfleet uniform, looks vaguely a cross between Cyric Lawton and Avery Brooks. The child is standing at the head of at the top of a stair, overlooking a city of Bajor, one of the cities on Bajor. Hard to tell which one, but there are thousands of people, both dead and alive, kind of standing around at the base of the thing. And as he's standing there and the camera kind of pans around a bit, from behind him steps out a shape. And as the shape begins to get into focus, you get the feeling that it is this entity, this, or at least it's connected to this entity in some way. And there's a sense of power and influence, but it doesn't necessarily feel like the influence and power are coming. It feels like they're coming from a person. It's hard to explain. Hang on, let me try this one more time. As they're coming up, you're getting the feeling all around you of the sense of the orb creature that you had taken care of earlier, but it does not appear to be coming from this person walking up. And just as they begin to get into focus, there's a flash of light, and I'm going to spend these last 2 moment threat, and you're ejected from the mind meld.
Ooh, okay.
Astrum looks as it breaks, and she says to you, "What did you see?"
Mar will hold back and wait for Shakaar to take the lead.
He looks around the room, and it was quite intense, Mar. I am doctor.
That it was, sir, and rather unexpected in its power.
I recognized the not the person standing, not the man, the other one. There was something familiar about her. I don't know.
I was able to gain nothing more specific myself.
Perhaps with some time, this will become more clear to me.
Indeed, and your mind, sir, has formidable defenses, which may have seen you through in better condition than most would have managed.
Well, I think I'm going to avoid any orb experiences for a little while.
Probably a good call, seeing as how they seem to be turning all your people crazy.
Yes. Speaking of which, we should probably recall some of those orbs. I appreciate everything you have done. Thank you.
Mara will just bow.
All right.
Ministers, I believe we will be reassigned fairly quickly, but if there's anything before then we could do to assist, feel free to reach out.
Of course, we will. And thank your captain. Everything, you have a fine crew, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all again sometime.
I hope so. Perhaps we shall have another dinner where you are more present. I would like that.
I would also like that. He stands up and kind of tucks in his clothing, a little bit more dignified than he's been recently. Well, since falling to the ground in shrieking agony. What do you think, Wadeen? Should we get back to the business of governing Bajor? She looks at him. She looks at Mar, and then she looks at Ambrose. She looks back at Mar. Looks back at Shakaar. Says, "I think so." And then the two kind of nod and move out the room.
When they leave the room, it's just the four of us, right?
Yep.
Okay. Mills turns to Ambrose and says, "Sir, I may be stating the obvious here, but the second minister rushed a little too quickly and pushed a little too hard against the first minister regaining his memories, and seemed too concerned and too eager about what he saw."
I think that's an appropriate show of caution. She is a woman of deep spirituality.
I mean, I for one would hate somebody going into my head, so I totally get where she's feeling.
Orb experiences are supposed to be extremely personal. Sharing them is unusual at the best of times within their own culture. With others, I can understand her hesitation and her concern. But
Certainly.
I agree, we, I suppose, unfortunately, the Federation as a whole should be vigilant as to the office of the whole of this planet.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else have anything else they want to do before we wrap up for the night?
I am actually curious if there is any fallout for Jisa. If anyone wants to bring up that transporter call.
Yeah.
Yes.
If we want to do that now, next episode.
Well, I'd like to resolve that, and I'd also like to resolve the birth scene.
Sure.
before
Yeah,
we
yeah.
wrap up.
Yeah,
I forgot about the birth.
Zasavi will definitely have things to say both to Jisa and I want to have a more private conversation with Cass.
Okay.
But a lot of what she says and how she approaches that is going to depend on what happens with the birth.
Sure. So, with the birth, whoever is doing the delivery, that I believe that was the nurse, right, Lieutenant Daphine. Is that who was?
I can. Yeah.
Sure. You were the primary there. You were the first one on the scene. We'll have you do it. This will be a control and medicine roll.
Can Tong assist?
Absolutely, he can.
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee he's not going to be all that helpful, but he is there with the medical tricorder, just frantically like, I don't know what I'm doing, but
That's one success.
Okay.
Whoa. Yeah, this just went down.
The ship should be able to assist too.
That's
so.
true.
Is she actually giving birth before we get back to the ship?
Well,
Oh.
Damn it, Tong.
That wasn't Tong, that was the ship.
Oh, okay. Damn it, the ship.
Yeah.
With the ship.
What was Tong rolling anyway? Control
Eva's bad
medicine?
at puzzles
Control
and we-
medicine, yeah.
He actually got a success.
Nice.
Yay.
Now, the ship is of no assistance. In fact, you are getting what look like a lot of false readings from the ship's sensors and readouts. It's actually, it almost seems like, as I can tie this complication to the other complication, as you're progressing through the delivery, the child seems fairly healthy. The readings that you're getting from the ship actually show Kasidy as being fairly healthy and all progressing well. But as the delivery is proceeding, she is getting weaker and weaker. And the ship is not telling you why. It doesn't seem to know why. The delivery, though, is a success. And it is a young, healthy baby boy who looks like a cross between Avery Brooks and Sarah Clofton, only miniaturized and newborn. But Kasidy is definitely fading quickly. What would anyone like to do in that situation?
I don't know. It's like she lost the will to live.
Anakin. Wrong story.
That's okay because earlier in my head, Eva was being played by Mammy.
Oh,
Delphine is going when she sees that her the baby's born, but the mother's dying. She's going to run to Oniat, and she's going, still wearing her like medical scrubs, and she's going to say, I don't know if there's anything more I can do for her. She's fading, and I'm not sure why.
Well, let's see what we can do.
Meanwhile, Tong is with the baby like, what do I do with this?
am I supposed to just hold this? What am I? All right. So you get in. Delphine, you can assist with this. Tong, the baby, has been handed off to one of their nurses. You can also assist with this if you'd like to. Doctor, nurse, and ship and engineer can all give me control and medicine. In the case of the engineer, give me insight and engineering.
Okay.
Does the focus in internal medicine apply?
Yes.
Okay, then I got 2.
Would emergency medicine apply here?
Yes. It is emergency internal medicine.
It's one success from Tong.
Ugh.
Ship.
Only one from me.
Plus the ship can assist.
And the ship assists. Right. Oh, I was going to roll the ship.
Nope.
Gotcha.
Ship
17.
is unhelpful here.
That does not help because the ship's goal would have been a 14 on this roll. So we got one success.
3.
Or-
I got 1.
I see.
got one.
And
I assisted.
Okay.
I assisted for 2. So
we
4.
got
So we're
3.
four.
4. Okay. So what you are finding is that she is suffering from she was not reassembled correctly by the transporter.
Okay.
The transport definitely did some damage. The fact that the ship is not detecting the damage is troubling, but something for Cass to work on later. So what do you want to do?
Was Kasidy? Can we? Sorry, I hate to cut you off.
Sure.
Was Kasidy ever? I don't remember from the show. Was she ever beamed through DS9?
I would assume so.
Then they have a record of her pattern.
Yes.
We could try to do the same thing we did with the shuttlecraft and sort of beam her from. This will be Tong. I have an idea. Perhaps. I think she was part of the DS9 whole all of that. If they have her pattern, we could beam her from this pad
Get me
to
that
their
pattern.
pad, and they could reassemble. They could
Stop talking and get me the pattern.
Eva did sync with the station early on, so you probably have the pattern in your system, or it can access it quickly.
Do what you need to do.
I'm not going to make a roll for to find the pattern. You'll find it. However, this will be a difficult transporter maneuver to pull off, and you have no momentum, and I have no threat.
Delphine is going to comment. We do know that this happened because she went through the transporter. Do we really think sending her through another transporter is going to make things better?
It's worth a try. In fact, it's our best option at this point.
I respectfully disagree, Doctor. I'm going to register my disagreement on the log.
You are welcome to do so.
Okay. Knowingly, you probably could correct this extremely difficultly by hand, but she may not live long enough for that to happen. It could be done by hand, but she may not live through it. She may also not live through the transporter. So if you want to try the transporter thing, we're going to say the difficulty is going to be 4. And it's going to be, now I'm going to say it's 3 because you have ideal conditions otherwise, other than she's dying. And I'm going to say it's going to be control and engineering, or control and medicine. Control and engineering is fine. Yeah. Or I'm actually going to go with daring and engineering because this is a pretty daring thing to do. And if one person would like to assist, I will say that it could be daring and medicine.
Can we assist though? Like, what would we be doing to assist?
You'd be working, like, you'd be trying to make sure the patterns all line up and everything is right. The medical doctor's like, well, no, that gene sequence doesn't go there. Oh, she's got a beak now. It's not,
I will.
They're matter
attempt to
resequencers,
assist.
right?
Right.
So, all right. So, Tong, it is on you to save Kasidy Yates.
So that's daring.
Daring and engineering.
Oh, Tong is not all that daring. Okay, I assume his focus in transporters applies.
Correct.
Okay. I don't have enough control over this NPC sheet, so I'm just going to manually roll.
That's fine.
That is 9 plus 4 is target 13 or less. I could buy threat, or I could buy a dice with threat.
You could?
Go for it.
Yeah, I'm going to buy a dice with threat.
Okay. I'm going to immediately use that threat to increase the complication range.
Sure. Love it. Okay. 3 dice, 13 or less with a focus.
I'm assuming that's a ship assist?
No, that was me.
Okay.
Definitely.
Woo!
All right.
4 successes
Okay.
from Tong.
Okay. So that's 6 successes? 5 successes? 5 successes. All right. You resequence Kasidy Yates. She looks younger when she comes out.
Hey.
Not a lot younger, but
It's an old pattern.
it's an old pattern. But yeah, you have managed to. She will take some time in sickbay, obviously, to recover and and who knows what the side effect complications of resequencing a new mother is going to be. But
Is she pregnant again?
Oh,
no,
God.
no, twins. I don't want to give an answer to that because I don't know what I want the answer to be. If you go by the book, she had a daughter. If you go by What We Left Behind, the documentary, she has a son. So maybe. But we will assume that she is otherwise alive and healthy for the moment. You guys will continue doing your things, and the new mother will have that to go for, and we will move along. She appears to survive for now.
So when this has all settled down, Delphine is still going to talk to Oniet, but I know we want to have scenes with Oniet and Cass and Jasira as well, Jajin as well.
Sure.
Jajin as well.
Sure. So whichever scene you guys want to have next, go ahead. We can also say some of these for next time if you want to, because you do have the whole transport to.
I mean, we're less than 3 hours in so far. I think we can get through it tonight.
Sure. I normally try to. Well, normally try to end right around 10, but we can go a little longer. Go ahead.
So Dasabi will start with Cass. She will find him in his office. Find her in her office.
Yeah.
She pings the door. Ouch.
Enter.
Lieutenant.
Oh, hi, Doctor.
Do you have a moment?
Absolutely. What's up?
I wanted to talk about the away mission.
Okay.
I will start by saying I respect your authority as the second officer and as the acting command of the mission. However, when dealing with medical issues or potential medical problems that could arise, that is my area of expertise. And as the chief medical officer, I would appreciate it if you would respect my authority in that regard from here on out.
Doctor, I respected it and overrode it. There were more lives than one at stake. I had to prioritize the good of the mission and of the lives of everyone, including yourself. And leaving a hostage at the mercy of their captors a second longer than need be when we were under fire is not an acceptable risk for anyone involved.
Except you significantly risk killing both her and her child in transporting them. And in fact, had it not been for the quick thinking and incredibly fast action of our transport engineer, Yates would have died.
Yes. And that risk had to be balanced against the lives of our team and her, and of the people holding her prisoner as well. We got out of that situation with no casualties. That was not a likely outcome, Doctor. And I understand that you regarded Ms. Yates as your patient and put her well-being first. That is your job as doctor. As mission commander, that is not mine. Mine is the mission and the team and everyone else involved.
There were other less risky options.
You're welcome to think so, and you're welcome to take a report to the captain. And I'm not going to needlessly risk anyone's life. I'm not needlessly going to risk anyone's life on an away mission.
And yet we did.
Not needlessly. Everyone else came back alive. Everyone came back alive.
You could have ordered the Bajorans beamed out and let me attend to Yates.
Perhaps. You had reported that there were additional people there who we could not detect. At the time, we thought that there were some sort of camouflage or cloaked people in that room who would have remained there. This way, the one person who is incapable of defending themselves was removed from the equation. This was a command decision, not a medical decision, doctor.
In some instances, there's no separating the two. And this was one of those instances.
I beg to differ.
You are welcome to beg to differ all you like.
And as second officer and commander of the away mission, it is and remains my call. Should the captain decide to investigate or to pursue disciplinary action, that is within his power to do so. Otherwise, the matter is closed.
As the chief medical officer, it is well within my rights to override in the case of a medical issue. I don't like to have to do that. I'd rather not step on toes, but noted for future.
And if I think that you are putting the lives of my team in danger or jeopardizing the success of the mission, there will be complications. I hope there won't be, Doctor. I really hope there won't be.
I certainly hope so as well.
Okay.
This is so good.
Did we have another scene we wanted to do?
Go ahead.
Delphine is going to want to have a very similar conversation with Dr. O'Neill.
All right.
I think we should do now because it's going to have a lot of parallels.
Sure.
Okay.
So, Doc, you arrive back in, I'm going to say, sick bay, and Delphine is waiting for you in your office.
Yeah, Delphine just looks exhausted. She's been in tending to labor for almost 24 hours now.
Right.
She's going to say, that was insane.
Indeed it was. Are you standing or sitting?
Standing.
Please have a seat, Lieutenant.
Do you not realize the recklessness in that? There's a reason that teleporters are not used in delicate medical procedures.
There's also a reason we don't tend to teleport pregnant people, but
well, I don't
what's
disagree
done
with
is
you.
done.
But why? So because she was teleported once, we can just teleport her willy-nilly? That's your logic?
Not willy-nilly. And need I remind you of protocol?
Yes.
I understand you are upset. However, we are professionals.
Yes. I know. It's just, I've read your profile. You are an incredibly unconventional doctor. I understand that. But all I ask is that we try the conventional procedures first and only try insanity when there remains no other option.
Lieutenant, how much experience do you have with emergency situations?
I served at Tycho Hospital for 3 years on call.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm. So you're aware that there are situations when you have to make a split-second decision because time is not on your side.
I am aware, but I disagree with you that trying untested methods is the idea. It is an acceptable solution even in times such as that.
Recalling someone's transporter pattern is hardly an untested method. It's been used before and has been used successfully.
Perhaps I missed that course in medical school using teleporters and surgeries.
Not in surgeries. However, there is a precedent that can be translated over into the situation. Our other option was to attempt to essentially recalibrate Yates by hand, which would have taken hours and hours. And she didn't have that time.
well, I think she could have survived. I think she would have. We could have kept her alive. And we got lucky. We got extraordinarily lucky. Even you have to admit that.
I think it was more skill than luck. I do believe there was some luck at play. However, it was the skill of both Tong and yourself and your guidance in helping him calibrate the transporter and pull up her pattern and arrange it correctly that led us to having a live woman recovering instead of a dead woman on her way to the morgue.
I just wasn't going to stand by and do nothing.
And I appreciate that.
I've said all I need to say. I'm going to go sleep for 2 shifts.
I think you certainly should.
I think I hope not every day working under you is like this. I sincerely do.
I certainly hope not every day we are in these situations.
She looks skeptical at that, and then she departs.
As she hits the door, Yates will, I know who I am, Dasavi will say, Lieutenant, good work today. I'm happy to have you on my team.
Non-committal grunting.
Okay. All right. Do we have any other scenes we want to do?
I don't think so. I think Dasavi does want to talk to Captain, but I don't think I'm ready for her to have the conversation yet.
Fair enough.
Why don't we do that between sessions via letters?
We can do that.
Yeah.
I think just to put a cherry on the top of those 2 very parallel scenes, over in Jesus' quarters, practicing in front of her mirror is her doing the exact same speech. Somebody had to make the call, and I had to make that call. There was no the camera just fades away.
Love it.
Nice. I would like to end, if no one is opposed to it. Well, we don't have to do that. We don't actually have to do the scene, but I would like to end with at least the shot of Ambrose finally making it to the bridge. Since it's been a long day, and it's been a lot going on, and Ambrose and the captain are finally going to not only meet. They've met in person already, but now it's the official business on the ship, and we don't have to role play that out if we don't want to today. But I think
I would actually.
Okay.
We can make it a short scene.
Yeah, I mean, I take as much time as you need. Doesn't matter.
All right. So the captain's. You know what? I'm going to say you return. The captain returns to the ship, and he's got a bottle. He's going to say, Commander Ambrose, I take it the report is on my desk.
There are a few.
Good. I've been keeping up to date, and you seem to have everything under control, so I didn't see any need to step in.
I appreciate the latitude.
Well, I hope you can keep it up. I really wanted to see what you were made of. So while you were taking care of all that, I was in Quark's bar of all places. I got you a present. And then he hands you the bottle.
What is it?
It's a Cardassian drink called the Kumar. It's an acquired taste, but boy, it'll get you drunk.
How insightful of a person is the captain?
Pretty insightful, I think.
Okay. I wanna roll something because I do have composure as one of my focuses. I don't know what that's going to be, and I don't know if it's going to have any bearing on anyone but how I roleplay this. But let's see, what would this be? Probably presence command.
Composure? If you're trying to maintain your composure?
Yeah.
Sure, that seems right. Or control.
Oh,
Okay.
So this eye cries often.
Yeah. So you see, I take the bottle and I kind of look at it and let out a quick breath. I appreciate the gesture, Captain. We will have to toast to a new voyage.
You don't seem particularly happy to be starting that voyage, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I am quite eager to start the voyage, sir.
All right then. Tell you what. Why don't we meet tomorrow? We'll go over the mission profile together and make sure we're on the same page on things. I think that's important.
It is, sir.
Good. Well, if you don't mind, I've got to. Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to go check and make sure that everything's going smoothly. That was terrible. If you don't mind, I've got some work to do.
Okay.
What does that mean? Are you going to your ready room? Are you?
No, the bridge.
Okay. Yeah, I figured we were both on the bridge.
Oh, yeah. Well, in that case,
Okay.
Yeah, in that case, he will go to the ready room.
Yeah.
Either way, he's getting out of the seat.
Okay. So I have the bridge.
Yep, you have the bridge.
That's a good place to end. I like that.
Yeah, we'll end with Ambrose will take the center chair, still looking at this bottle. He's gonna look up at the view screen and lean over and just put it on his chair, and just fold his arms and go about.
All right.
Giving a Cardassian drink to somebody who fought Cardassians.
Yep.
Well, you know. All right. That went pretty well. So what moment stands out most to you this evening?
Doctor and Cass.
Which
my
top
favorite,
10?
hands down.
Which
Wow.
top 10?
And there were a lot of really good ones today.
Anybody got one? You don't have to do any. We just do one if you guys want to just do one for the whole group.
Yeah, I'd have to say the Doctor and Kaz too, because I had not expected that she was going to be such a hard ass. But that was like generations of Starfleet enlisted sort of coming out there.
Sure.
I agree. I didn't expect, from the very kind of happy-go-lucky cast we've seen, I didn't expect that much pushback too.
Yeah.
Sure.
Cass is aware she's outranked, right?
Yeah. Only by pips, really.
Right.
I mean,
All right. Who best embodied their character tonight? I got to give it to Tong and Elizabeth. I think those two were probably.
Yeah,
Song was brilliant.
Yeah.
song was fantastic.
Yep.
I would
give an honorable mention to Kaz for sure. I like the change up. So as we discussed before, I like the change up. So anybody else have one?
I was really happy that I got a chance to disagree with the Doctor as Diffie.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
a great set of scenes.
Yeah. So what moment best exemplifies another person's character to you?
Dr. Oniet agreeing instantly to the teleport thing.
Mhm.
You know, we talked about her being a unconventional doctor, and that was unconventional medicine.
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
Yep. I'm gonna go with the end bit there with Ambrose and the doctor. I think that I'm sorry, Ambrose and the captain. I think that really had a good way of showing both characters a little bit deeper. And now I'm confused. I need to see more of this dynamic. I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes, because at first we had a very terse conversation, and then we had a very professional conversation, and then we had a very confusing conversation. So, I'm certainly I'm intrigued by this dynamic. So
I think mine is Yazbeth's like very eager and not particularly well composed, like, Commander, I found a thing. It proves my theory.
Yeah, I was going to say her interrogation,
Yes, that
which was
too. I love
so
that.
yes, Beth, and so effective at the same time.
She's got earnestness out the ass.
She does.
Yep. Yep.
I liked the moment where it was, I don't know how I did it, but I did it. I don't know what I did, but it worked.
Yes.
All right. What, if anyone has this one, that you feel free, what motivated your character during this session, and how have those motivations changed going forward?
So I'm actually going to elaborate on this a bit more between sessions. I actually plan on the captain's log exploring what he was doing during all this,
Mhm.
but he was deliberately trying not to step on Arani Ambrose's toes.
Mhm.
And I don't know if I conveyed that in session, but he was specifically avoiding stepping in, and so I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I think it came across well too. So
Yeah.
I think for Kaz, she's got a lot of experience with first contacts and with some going badly. And it is, make sure this doesn't go to violence no matter what.
Mhm.
And that was what was driving her. I'm going to find the peaceful solution, even if it means me getting shot, if it means risking the hostage's life, we're going to get out of this peacefully.
Mhm. Anybody else? Okay. What did you or your character learn today? Nobody?
Jorad Hage learned that not only is he in professional disagreement with Arani Ambrose, but he is also in personal disagreement with Arani Ambrose. So that's going to be nice.
Good to know.
Huh. I thought we were repairing some bridges here. This episode.
That's
all right.
the.
All right,
He took his
sure.
gift and gave a log saw.
It was definitely
Thank you.
it was a conflicting and confusing moment, because at first I thought, in that moment, I thought like, okay, he's happy about it. Then I'm like, he's mad about it. Then he puts it over his own chair, like, okay, I don't know what that means. Is he mad? And I don't know what that means. It's I like it though, because it adds complexity.
Yeah.
So we'll have to. I also like the idea of there possibly being an unwarranted conflict between the two characters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good idea, bad idea. I would say I don't have a good idea, bad idea, but I definitely thought that I was surprised by the immediate success of some of these roles tonight, and I did not expect the resolution of the Shakaar thing to be happening quite as early as it did. So the walking to the hallway, I'm like, hey, I got a button, boop, oh shit, it worked. All right, I'll roll with that. I thought that was good. I thought it was a good idea. The bad idea was me not planning for that inevitability.
The good idea was I like that the AI is plugging into wherever we're going. That seems like it has interesting story potential down the line.
Mm-hmm.
The bad idea is I did notice we have a science skill of 6.
Yes.
On the ship. That is rule breaking.
I think actually on the sheet it's not that high. I think it's only that high on the on the.
Oh,
in
okay.
the app.
If it's supposed, we might want to correct that.
Yeah, it's a holdover from when I just copied it over directly from the PDF, which was I made the PDF using the STA thing, and it gave it a 6, and I should not have been able to do that. But
yeah,
we'll adjust that.
Okay, that's the only thing I had.
Yeah, because an 18 is a lot.
Yeah, that's literally not possible.
Right. Although it's still going to be a 17 because it's got a 12 in computers and a 5 in science. So
sure, yeah.
But yes, I agree. I think I had moved that to security on the other sheet because you guys have a terrible security in the ship. I think it's a 1, and it shouldn't be a 1.
Oh, Jesus, no, God.
It should be a 2, I think. So otherwise, you're all going to die. So
I think I don't have any bad ideas only because the rolls went right.
Mm-hmm.
We had the two big things I can think of that wound up being good ideas but could have been really bad ideas were the mind meld and the transporter reconfiguring.
Yeah, I would definitely put the mind meld on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I liked the mind meld, and I'm glad I didn't use up all of my threat, because I think I'd have given away something I didn't want to give away then, and I feel like I would have had to, because I think the mind meld would have done it. I think the mind meld would have given you the information that I didn't really want you to have anymore. So.
I didn't think you were going to say yes.
Oh,
I really didn't.
I'm all for it. That roll, you got 6. By the way, you should have had more momentum. You had 6 successes on a. I set the difficulty high enough because I didn't want you to succeed in it. But I'm like, all right, you got the roll. And the complication was obviously the second minister stepping in forcefully. But I'm like, all right, I'll do it, and because I don't mind giving away some additional information. And I would have, if I hadn't had any threat, I'd have just flat out given you the final answer. But I like it better when you don't know. So, if you could change one thing about this session, what would it? Oh well, let's do that one last. Let's. What did you see from another player or character that you'd like to see more of in the future? I liked the change in Kaz. I like that was the assertiveness. I like that was good. Anybody else got anything? I like the ship failing rolls too.
Yeah,
I don't know about that. Yeah. That doesn't inspire confidence.
Right.
But that has plot potential too. And I have notes for Kaz to dig into that.
Anybody else got a what would you like to see from another player or character?
I want to see more of that fierceness from the Doctor. Just in general.
Okay.
I was really waiting for the blowback on Jisa. Like I really had that whole conversation already planned out in my head, but I really liked that we had 2 of those conversations, and she wasn't involved in either of them. It was purely higher upper crew conflict. Right.
You can't blame the ensign for everything. So.
I mean, she's a lieutenant.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
something like that.
Still.
Yeah.
Do you have anything, Brian?
I want to see. I want to see Dr. Oniet laying down the law when it comes to medicine. I like that.
Sure. I liked the conflict between Kaz and the Doctor because it really is a gray area in that situation. Does the Doctor really have the authority, or is it the command person on the team there? There are arguments to be made on both sides, and I like how that played out because who knows what the right answer is. So
yeah, I just don't want. I guess what I'm trying to say is I like that the Doctor is being so adamant about her side of the argument.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah,
I think a lot of doctors can just fold under that.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. It's nice to see. If you could change one thing about the session, what would it be? I have a number of things I would change, but they're all on my end. So I think you guys all did a fantastic job. I lost a bit of the thread at some point, but other than that, I thought it was good.
It didn't show through at all. I mean, I thought that was packed with jam all the way through.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd change is I would have liked more character moments. This session felt a little light of them compared to what we've had.
Yes.
It was very plot heavy.
Yes.
as opposed to the other ones, and I definitely felt that missing.
Yeah.
We got them a little bit there towards the end, but
I was rushing an Act 3 closure because I wanted to make sure this didn't go over to another session. So I was pushing a little harder this time.
Really figured that was happening. Yeah. And that was fine.
I actually like that we had a more action-based episode. I really like the RP episodes, but they can't all just be RP.
Well, we didn't have that much action actually either.
It was tension. It was tension. It wasn't necessarily action.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I liked. The only, like I said, the only thing I would really change was I thought that I had there was some pacing issues a couple times, but they were on me. And I think it played out well. I think I covered okay, and I think you guys did a fantastic job of filling in where I was. Where my threads were broken, I think you guys did a really good job of tying them back together. So that's really good. I appreciate that from players because it's hard to find sometimes. So
I don't think I really had any complaints with today. It was more, we didn't have as many of those character moments like Brian said, but I don't think there I didn't have a problem with that.
Sure.
Like there weren't points where I was like bored or we were grinding or whatever.
I found it was really, at least for my end of my characters and for watching, really, really intense all the way through.
Yeah.
Good. That's what I was hoping for. I figured that Act 3 should be fairly tight. So
I have one more, and this is really minor.
Sure.
I do wish I'd been able to see Melanie Silva at some point during this thing.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't appear at all. There wasn't a spot for her to appear. It was we got a pretty crowded field, so I'm not like calling anyone out, but I am just registering my disappointment there.
I think my biggest complaint for myself, and really on anything else besides it, was I think we had to play it fast and loose on a couple of the rules a few times, and I think the consistency won't be there for the future of what we did today. Probably will not happen again in the future. On some of the rules, but it happens.
Flow is more important than rules by a wide margin.
Absolutely, right. And I think they played out well. So I don't have anything else. I'm going to give everybody, since we're not doing milestones anymore, we're not doing spotlight milestones anymore, but we are doing arcs. This is the end of the prologue. I'm going to give everybody 1 arc point. You may also change your character as if you had, if you want to swap out something that you didn't get a chance to swap out before, that didn't work for your character, doesn't fit, whatever, go ahead. Finalize your characters, get an arc point, and when we pick up next time, we'll be playing by the new advancement rules, which will be you'll get arc points when we finish story arcs. Otherwise, you can pretty much change anything you would get with a spotlight or milestone, spotlight or regular milestone between each episode, not session. And we'll indicate when episodes end. It'll be fairly clear, usually.
Do the supporting characters all get a bump like we were talking about?
Yes. Every supporting character that appeared gets to choose. The list is in the player Bible, I think. And it works just like normal advancement, really, except there's really no limit to them. There is, but you can read it. It's in the player Bible, the advancement for that. Feel free to give everybody one of those. Every secondary character that appeared in the episode. So over the course of the 3 sessions.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So because it's per episode, so if we end up having a 5-part episode and every character appears, every character gets it. So every secondary character. So I don't want to punish anybody for end of session stuff or this character didn't appear in this one session or it was 3 sessions ago. I don't know. I don't want that. That doesn't work for me. So on that note, that's it. That's all I've got for today. And I think I forgot to roll the intro credits, but I'm just going to roll the outs now. So we'll see you. We're off next week, but we're picking up the week after. So we'll be keeping that in mind.